Welcome back to D&D in the world of Terra. I'm Archer Jason, your humble DM. With me as always is Bobby playing the Cleric Grim.
Hello.
We got Meidrax played by George.
Hello.
That's our Dragonborn Sorcerer, of course. We got Lex up as Shae Weston. She's a Hexblade Warlock.
Hi, everyone.
And that's the whole team.
Wait, what about me?
That we can see over the bar.
Got it.
Oh. But bringing up the booster seat, we got Phen, the Halfling. You know him. You love him. Number 13 in our game. Number 1 in your hearts.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's Adam.
Oh, yeah, also Adam. Sorry. So we're just going to jump right into this with a good previously on D&D.
So, out of character to begin.
Oh, that's fine.
We see a rain-soaked Grim, cross-legged, head bowed. Kind of littered around him are various scrolls, small bound books. He's got a quill in one hand, and he looks deep in contemplation. You imagine maybe he's searching for some long-lost religious artifacts or texts for any answers that he could find. And as we watch the rain slowly drip from his nose to one of the pages, we hear his thoughts. Dear Diary, it's been a rough couple of days. I'm really not sure I can take much more. We started off drinking with a couple of soldiers from out of town, just trying to get some information on that ghost ship I told you about before. Didn't really go anywhere. We had to go track down a couple of our friends, but eventually made our way back to the beach, trying to do some investigation on our own. Remember, we got shot at. Next time we found these tubes. Ben was pretty sure they were mortars, and they were pointed at the city. Freaked me out. We went back and told Lieutenant Webb about it. And on the board behind him were these strategic-looking maps. He'd gone from administration to tactical planning? Was the city going to be under attack? I felt sick. And Lieutenant Anlo, the twit, the turd, known as a dickbag to his friends, I think he might be in on it. After a fight, we took the mortar tube over to Roken so he could check it out, but he didn't really have any information. Shae did get some pretty cool armor. We followed some soldiers back to the campsite and then back to the beach, up onto a cliff before the rain started. They dismantled all those tubes and getting ready to take them back. We got some kind of not mummy rot, but something similar. Took them over. They started attacking each other. It was awful. We had to put them all down. And now we have to figure out what's going on. Looks like Baytown might really need some heroes after all. We might not be the heroes she wants, but we could be the heroes she... And then it's interrupted by a big splash of water.
Ark came for blood. You know all those times I've almost killed you?
You got a taste
accidents.
for it. Yeah, you got a taste for it.
No, I didn't get a taste for it.
Uh-huh.
I just actually planned today.
I can tell. No, you got so close to that TPK, not once but twice. You can still smell what it smelled like on the grill.
Plastic. That's all I can smell today.
There's blood in the water, and there's a DM dorsal fin.
So the party finds themselves... very well done, by the way. If you don't have inspiration, go ahead and give it to yourself. If you do have inspiration, then spend it at some point in time so you can get more. I might be a little bit distracted because my left eye has been twitching for like 2 days now. I don't know why. So,
I thought maybe you were going to say you went chasing waterfalls.
No, I stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to. All right, anywho,
Drink
the
the blood
game,
of a turnip.
so we don't have to take the extra hour if we don't need. We're going to take the extra hour no matter what because I don't want to stop playing at like 10. So you find yourselves on the beach. You are amidst the corpses of a lot of soldiers. One with his throat brutally slashed from some sort of dark magic, who in a zombie-like state murdered the other 5 with unnaturally well-placed shots to the head with his pistol. You sent one ahead of you. I believe only Meidrax knows about that one, perhaps. Sent him running down the road while Meidrax went to investigate what was happening. So that young lad is going to report back to town. Presuming he makes it there before you, or at all. It is raining very hard. Grim. I don't know if you made just a religion check or if you did actually something special. I think because you're not a paladin, so you can do like divine sense or anything like that. So I think you just made like some sort of arcana check on general area, trying to figure stuff out.
At the very end?
Yeah. What was the
Yeah, I failed it badly. I got a shiver from the cold.
Yeah. No, I remember that. I just can't remember what check you took. I edited that scene like 37 times because I had to like dial right into the end to get it. But yeah. So that's where you guys are. That's what you guys are doing.
We're so. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, are the launch tubes with these soldiers?
They, two of them were carrying several of them. Yeah, so.
Okay.
I think each of them has one, and then, if there were extras, some of them were carrying extras, some of them aren't carrying, yeah, so they're kind of spread amongst, like, 3 people.
I think we should get them off the coast, and the bodies and the launch tube, and put them in the woods where the one I protected that died is.
So don't forget, you actually suggested that last time, or someone suggested that last time, kind of cleaning up the bodies. But the problem is the tide is coming in, and the waves are lapping, and the storm is getting worse.
We are so going to get blamed for this. I just know it. Especially after a little incident with our favorite officer. Yeah. I'm gonna miss Baytown.
I think we'll be all right.
Revoke hero status when I revoke it.
I think we'll be all right. We've done some pretty good things for him, and I mean, we're not at fault. So long as we tell the truth, you know.
Would you believe us?
There's a giant peal of thunder.
I would.
Meidrax starts moving the bodies into the woods.
I would. I think we'll be okay. I think it's going to take some splaining to do, but I think we will be okay.
So as you two talk on the beach, Meidrax just kind of in the background grabs one of the bodies and starts moving it into the woods.
And his throat gets slit. That's one down.
That one happened really.
He did it to himself.
It was actually a joke I was going to make, too. I was going to be like, as you're walking back, you just hear, thwip, and then Shae just falls down dead. So she can bring in her other character. You get one body into the woods, and you notice that the waves are crashing only about a foot away from the other bodies. As you start to get the second body into the woods, you see that now the waves are lapping against the bodies pretty wholesale.
I want to make sure that I get the one that was killed and controlled.
Yeah.
That got the 5 others. I want to make sure to get that one in the woods and the launch tubes.
Okay, yeah, you can easily get that one and then take the launch tubes off of them and then take those to the woods. By the time you finish that, the bodies are pretty much in a couple inches of water that's up and down, and it's actually starting to move the bodies and kind of pull them along the beach a little bit.
Mm.
And of course, mixing with blood. Although
Right.
hard to tell because rain.
Well,
I don't want them to get pulled out to the lake, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of them in the woods. Can I do a search for like personal effects so I can take them back to the town?
Yeah, you don't even have to roll for it. You could pretty easily take one of two things. You can take the insignias on their shoulders that kind of tell their rank. They mostly match, but there's something easy you can pull off. They're like little brass bars. or you can. They don't have like dog tags or anything like that. And they don't have names on their I almost said jerseys, and that wasn't correct. On their uniforms. But
as Phen sees this happening and him gathering like personal effects, Phen will go help as well.
okay. Yeah, you gather because they'll have records of who was sent out, so they'll know. So you presume that you can probably just grab. Okay, here we have these, and those can be given. You do find two of the men are wearing rings, whether they're betrothal rings or just some other sort of family jewelry, and one does have a necklace that appears to be it's a coin that's been punched through, a Durum copper piece. On the back side of it, it has marked out holy symbol.
Can I tell what the holy symbol is of?
Nerissa, the goodly goddess of death and like natural balance. She's like the soul shepherd.
Oh. Okay. I collect all that in their insignias.
Okay.
With Phen.
You guys collect all that, and are, even though you're a little bit sad that you can't at the moment get the bodies, it has become just a torrential downpour. You're pretty well soaked. Your boots are sloshing in what was just yesterday far from the shore. You are now sloshing in inches of water, almost to the top. Well, for normal boots, to the top of the boots. I don't know if anyone has like tall boots or anything.
Okay.
Phen's basically waist deep at this point.
Meidrax is going to try to yell over the wind and rain to Shae. Shae, you said something about a necromancer?
Yeah, probably based on his handiwork, or her. I'm not judgmental. It's probably. I'm not sure if it is a necromancer exactly, but it's at least very similar from what I can see.
I've never met, or I haven't met many wizards, but the books I've read, they don't tend to be strong enough to do what was done to these people's throats.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with exactly what's happened here, but I guess Shae jumps up a bit.
I'd be playing rain music, except it doesn't pick up well on the thing.
But from the wounds, I would say that whoever or whatever did this might still be close. And she inches a bit closer to Grim.
Meidrax feels that sense of terror of something might be close, and more, he casts see invisibility, but it's more like a bodily reaction than a spell casting.
Okay.
And his eyes kind of glow with caged radiant fire.
What's the range on that?
See invisibility, I just see invisibility.
You guys are actually finding it's quite hard to hear each other. Not like, oh shit, we're deadly as catch, crab fishing in Alaska during a storm. Like, hard to hear each other, but it's, a solid rain. You kind of have to talk over a little bit.
Okay, so there's no range on it. It lasts for 1 hour, no concentration. I can see invisible creatures and objects as if they were invisible, and then I can also see creatures and objects in the ethereal plane.
Oh, that's interesting.
Indeed.
You unfortunately do not see anything.
Yeah, piss poor perception.
No, you just don't see anything.
Okay.
There is nothing invisible or ethereal around you.
Let's. I suggest we get off of the shore and into the woods some.
I'll give you inspiration for that, though. So you can use that later to make up for it.
Okay.
I agree with Meidrax. Let's go into the forest and find some shelter.
Let's go to town before they come back and send another party, and more people die.
I was able to get one to flee back to town to warn them that something was going wrong.
Oh, good job.
I'm not sure that's how he's going to tell the story.
Well, I still think honesty is our best option here.
Honesty is always the best option.
I vote for the forest.
At least for now, let's get out of the rain as much as we can.
Yeah. Maybe build some shelter or so. I also just don't want to leave the bodies here with a necromancer around.
I cast Ski Lodge.
That's a good point, though, Shae.
All right, you step into the woods, and the storm continues. And as you kind of look out, I would like to make survival checks from everyone, please. I'll let Phen have advantage.
First critical of the evening. Critical fail, that is.
So 21 for me.
Phen, you have some knowledge of sailing the inland seas. This storm is not going to let up tonight. You can see the lightning all the way in as far as you can see across the lake. You can see the storm coming. Granted, you can't see much of the lake because of the rain and the clouds, but.
So I'm of the opinion this storm isn't going to let up tonight,
No,
if it lets up at all.
Yeah, if you're waiting for the storm, if you're going to wait in the woods for the storm to let up, you're camping out in the woods tonight.
And potentially a couple of days, right?
It is the rainy season. It has just been unseasonably dry.
Yeah. So, guys, we should take the bodies to town.
That's a long way to carry a dead grown man.
It's 2 hours, and you have 6 plus 1 that you'll find on the way if you go towards the road, and then the other 2 that you left back in the woods. Granted, those 2 could be part of a murder scene between a jilted lover, and that's a whole other thing. You don't have to worry about that. But,
Has anybody seen this jilted lover? Has anybody ever met her before? I say she's the suspect.
I mean, if you all worked and spent a little bit of time, you could probably get all the bodies high enough into the woods, and kind of keep them together. But if you wanted to say a blessing over it or something grim, that'd be fine. But burial is probably out of the question without significant effort. But you could probably keep them from watching out to sea if you all work together and spend a little bit of time.
So, okay, guys, then this storm's not stopping. We need to take care of set the dead to rest, and then call it. Otherwise, we're camping here for maybe a couple of days if we want to let the storm clear out.
And by camping, you mean sitting out in the rain, in the woods?
Because I don't know about you guys, but I left my bedroll back in the room.
You have a bedroll?
Yeah. Gotta have one when you're exploring.
Note to self.
As you look around, you kind of look down the beach. It's actually pretty hazy down the beach. It's hard to see the other end, but you can see that the cliff where the mortar position was has essentially turned into a waterfall. I mean, that's how much water is coming down, or how much rain is coming down.
I think we'll be fine here. I got a 0 on my survival, by the way.
The city
So.
girl, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to leave you guys, but I think we should pack it up. Do what we can with the bodies, and then I don't know if there is a necromancer, if they've been blessed before they're laid to rest, can they still do terrible, terrible things?
So Grim would know that just a simple blessing, maybe, but you can actually channel some magic if it's the will of the gods to keep them from rising.
Yeah. I could also talk to him.
That's true.
Oh, nice.
See if we can get a message to send them, if that's a thing you can do. I don't know how it works. Maybe can you talk to all of them at once, or is it just one? Or
To be honest, I've never actually tried it. I book know how to do it, if that makes sense. Yeah, no, I have to pick one. I've got to be pretty close.
I vote for the one that I blessed and ended up killing somehow.
Ooh, okay.
Were we able to get the bodies off the shore?
Yeah, it'll take you about, I don't know, 5 minutes. You alone were having trouble, and it would have taken you some time. The bodies are kind of like floating and tumbling down the... That's not funny, I shouldn't have giggled at that. But, I mean, you guys let it know.
They're starting to float.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Let's get them up.
You haven't experienced yet, but apparently this lake was down probably from it being fairly dry, and now that it's raining, especially if it's raining like all the way from like Kassan over, this lake is probably a little bit deeper now. There's a sheer amount of water pouring into it.
That's a big storm.
It is. It is a big ass storm. I cannot convey that enough.
Okay.
Okay, we'll work on the bodies. I want to keep my eyes open and constantly perceiving.
Okay.
So should we start, like, piling some rocks on some of these bodies, or...
When somebody dies at sea, we just throw them overboard. So I have no idea what customs.
Well, we're
are
obviously
here.
not going to bury them. It would take too long, and we'd all end up drowning in the grave.
And I don't think rocks are going to keep a necromancer out, so I wouldn't bother with that either.
All right,
Shae jumps again.
let's speed this along then. Grim will kneel beside each one and give a quick blessing. Not really sure that it's going to do anything, but what the hell. How many do we have? 5?
6 if you got the one off of the road.
I was trying to take the one that got guided bolted back to the one that I blessed.
Yeah. So there are 9 total because there were 10 that came out, but that includes the 2, the Sarge and the other guy from the other side. Which
well, I want to make sure the last one I get to is the one that you blessed that had the first slashed throat.
Yeah, you won't be.
He's the one I want to speak with.
Yeah.
So, here's how this works. I get just a few minutes, and I'm only going to get to ask him, like, probably 5 questions.
I think it's, 10 minutes that it lasts?
10 minutes, 5 questions.
Oh, does it have the 5 question as part of it?
Yep.
Okay.
It's under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer if I'm hostile, or it recognizes me as an enemy. Okay.
Shae, do you have any kind of charm spells?
Yeah, but would they work on the dead?
Well, he shouldn't know me. As far as he knows, I'm just a priest.
True.
That's a good point. And I don't think my spells would work on a dead person.
Zone of truth or anything like that? Or Grim?
I have Zone of Truth. Do you really think he'll lie to us?
I mean, we can always cast it mid-string.
Cursory examination. This guy is maybe like mid-20s. Looks just like a soldier. He has 2 bars on his uniform. And the fact that he carries a gun, you presume he's a little higher rank than some of the rest of these guys. The fact that he carries a pistol, rather.
Does he have a name badge?
No.
I was just thinking it'd be better if I could call him by name, but... Does he have a rank insignia?
You took it off of him, but he would be a between private and sergeant.
Corporal,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I started to say corporal, but I was like, no, colonel's too high. Wait, that's not the same.
You're saying he's a corporal corpse?
He's corpse-roll.
Damn it, Bobby. God damn it, Bobby.
Damn
Fuck,
it,
that was
Bobby.
good.
Yeah, Grim is visibly nervous. Alright, it's kind of cold out here.
Is he doing the
Never
Mr.
really-
Miyagi?
Yeah,
I got
never
this.
really cast spells in the rain. I'm trying to warm my hands up.
You got
It
this,
is very
Ray.
cold.
I believe in
Okay.
you.
It's very cold rain.
All right. Actually, like, do a little stretching. Stalling, really, more than anything.
It's actually summer, so I should probably
Work
wait.
the
Dig
kinks
deep,
out.
Grim.
Yeah.
Dig deep.
All right.
You're here for a greater purpose. Dig deep.
I'm gonna kind of prop the body up a little bit and kind of sit over him like I'm giving him some last rites. Look as mildly official as I can, and I will cast Speak with Dead.
His head lolls and his eyes get a little bit of like color back in them. And he kind of looks at you, and it's unsettling because his mouth moves, but his windpipe is completely severed. And he kind of looks at you and says, "What happened?"
You were a hero today, Corporal. Did you see who struck you?
Struck me? Was there a fight?
There was a fight, and thanks to you, we were victorious. You don't know what happened to you?
Was it a bar fight? We got a little rowdy last night.
We're at the beach, Corporal. Think. Think really hard. What's the last thing you remember?
We were having drinks at the bar. And we were chatting with the girls.
And then...
And then I remember we went home because we didn't have enough money. And we had work.
And then... What happened at work? Shit. Got one left.
I don't remember going to work. I must have had too much to drink.
Oh.
I just remember going down the alley by the docks
Holy
to
shit.
take a piss. And that's it. I must have passed out. I'll give you more questions. This is going very fast, and these aren't necessarily questions.
No. That paints the picture for me. What I'm really curious about now... did you know Lieutenant Anlo?
Yeah, he's our lieutenant.
Do you think he's a dickbag?
He kind of laughs, but it makes him start coughing, which is weird because there's no breath. But you see kind of the light fading from his eyes. You think you're going to probably lose him pretty quick.
Shit. What were the last orders you remember?
We were dismissed after our duty, so we went to go get drinks.
Damn it.
Must have had too much. And he slumps.
This whole time, I have been actively perceiving.
Yeah, no, there is nothing around. Like you're not you're seeing the rain. There's nothing invisible. There's nothing ethereal. You no longer sense magic. Well, other than what was just happened here. There are the dead bodies, and the slightly more dead bodies.
I'm actually going to give this soldier, like, respectable last rites and blessing.
Okay.
And then I'm going to stand up and look at everybody and say, guys, this happened in town. The only way that makes sense is if whoever it was got to him last night.
This happened last night at the docks, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. He never saw it coming.
I don't know what thunder sounds like. I'm sorry.
So I think we need to go back to town and we need to have a private meeting with Webb. And it needs to be a real conversation.
Do you think that'll happen without cuffs at this point?
I think it will because we've only ever done one thing negative for this town.
And you mean before we killed 10 of the town's guards?
We didn't, Grim. And, like, Phen kind of walks
I
up to
know
him
that,
and
and
grabs
you
his,
know that.
Yeah, like, kind of grabs his hands, like, I know we know this, but it's okay to be around when bad things happen.
Well, the bad things that are coming to this town are coming quickly.
And
we're no help to anybody if we're behind bars waiting to explain ourselves.
I think we'll be fine. And I don't think they're going to lock us in the brig.
What if Shae and Grim go and speak with Webb, and Phen and I sneak onto the docks? To investigate.
What do you think?
That could work.
I'm
I
pretty
don't-
sure they're going to lock us up. So whatever happens, you got to break us out, because we can't wait around.
Yeah. I can probably do that.
Meidrax, I need a jeweler.
Really?
Specifically, I need you to be on the lookout for diamonds worth around 300 gold pieces. If shit's about to hit the fan as hard as I expect it to, we're going to need a couple fancy spells.
You are on the road. You're heading to Baytown. It is a 2-hour journey under normal conditions. What you gonna do? All that
Well,
haste to
are we
done.
going to split the party when we get closer?
That's the
Yeah.
plan, right?
I mean,
Probably.
unless they're waiting for you to. I mean, unless they're waiting for you, like, oh shit, we have to arrest them the moment they enter town. And you're not that far behind the other guy. You're maybe like, got maybe a half an hour behind him now, presuming that he's making good time. If they're not waiting for you by the road, then once you kind of get into town, you can just turn and go towards the docks, while the rest of the group heads towards like the dock house. You don't necessarily have to sneak through the woods or whatever around the edge of town. Anyway, it's 2 hours. If you want to try to hurry, you can. If you'd rather be cautious, that's fine too. Either way, the road has turned to mud and muck.
Yeah, I think we ought to kind of hustle because this weather. There could be floods.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead and make a Constitution throw. Constitution check. If you are trained in athletics, you can make this check with advantage.
Fucker.
Or you can make an athletics check to see if you can make it with advantage.
I got a 10.
You want a Constitution check?
Yeah.
21.
Okay. Anyone under
7.
10? Okay.
I got a 5.
All right. You find it to be very tough going. You keep kind of getting stuck in the mud and having to like free up your boot and whatnot. You make a little time here and there, and then you kind of fall behind. Every once in a while, you'll look up, and Phen will be way ahead, and he'll have to wait or kind of slow his pace and all that. But you make it back to town in about an hour and a half instead of 2 hours.
Are we still splitting the party, guys? And Shae?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if we should.
As you're
Well,
entering,
and
you
here's
see the buildings and whatnot. You don't see anyone coming towards you.
I don't think that water's safe to walk on, guys, magic or no magic. Did you see the waves out there?
Yeah.
It is pretty rough.
Yeah.
So as you're kind of entering town, you see the big oak tree is swaying and like whipping in the wind. Water's pouring down. But it's weirdly like quiet. There's no one like it's not weirdly quiet because no one would be outside walking the street, and you're like, okay, but there's no one in the porches. You don't hear or see anyone around, and this is the first time you've been here when it's raining, so it's kind of a weird emptiness of just this nature and downpour of rain and nothing else going on.
Guys, what if we just headed back crash for the night, go talk to Webb in the morning. We'll be fresh. Little time, little perspective.
What about those people's families?
Yeah, I don't think this can wait.
So as you're kind of walking through, you're getting close to the brass and barley. You see that there are, the lights flickering inside of the torches and not torches, but lanterns and all that. You see a woman, just like a normal peasant woman, or one of the farmers. She's running from like the east side of town, kind of near where the stables are, and she's kind of running across the square, and she's running towards the docks. And you think, okay, well, she's running because it's raining. But you see that she has her hand like up over her mouth, and she seems to be saying something, but you can't make it out in the rain. And then as you kind of pass the brass and barley, you look around and you see that there are a couple other people, and they're all moving towards the dock. Anyone you see, they're moving towards the dock. And as you get to the town center,
Well, all the commotion towards the dock, Phen starts going that direction.
okay. As soon as you kind of clear the buildings and look out over the dock, you see the brightly colored ship. It's rocking pretty raucously in the waves, but the deck is completely full of people looking out. The dock is completely full of people looking out. And you look out, and out at the edge of the harbor, you see the Istria. And it's on fire. Just blazing.
Phen takes off towards the Istria.
It is out in the lake. Like where it's, because remember, it got sent out on
Oh,
patrol.
right.
And
Right.
even
Never
in the
mind.
heavy rain, it is on fire. And as you kind of like, you start to run, and you kind of pull up a little bit, you see some of the soldiers kind of just standing, holding their weapons and whatnot. You see Mirabelle, she's got both hands up over her mouth. And you, up ahead, you see, you're not entirely sure who it is, but you see a figure in the blue coat, just standing there with his arms at its side, just like some sheets of paper, just completely destroyed by the rain, just hanging in his hand.
So soldiers are not actively trying to do anything about it.
These soldiers aren't. And
So Phen,
you kind of gathered that, like, this just happened. This just happened with enough time where everyone's like, oh shit, something, what's happening? Or
Phen is full blown like issuing commands at this point. He runs over to the soldiers and starts screaming at them, grab the skiffs. There could still be people alive out there. Go get them. And then he's going to run over to the guy in the blue cloak.
How far off the docks or the shore is the ship?
300 feet. It's at the edge of the harbor.
You ready for that water walking?
But I mean, it's on fire. Phen, as you kind of like, you yell at the soldier, like, oh, what are you doing? We have to help them. And you run up to the guy in the blue, and you look, and it's Webb. And he's just standing there, just like horror stricken on his face. And he starts to yell out something about the Carnwin, which is on the other side of the harbor, obviously to go help out. And the Istria explodes. Just a massive, as her powder goes off.
Oh shit.
And he falls to his knees and just yells out swear words.
Did anyone make it out alive?
It does not look like it.
Meidrax is like tapping Grim. Water walking.
You want to walk out in that now?
Someone needs to go out there and help.
The waves are
What if there's a
crashing
survivor?
against the rubble and debris is falling, still on fire. Shae and Meidrax, I would like you to make Arcana checks.
16.
Yuan-ti.
You notice a strange flicker in the flames that you can't really explain, but you think part of the reason why it's on fire, even in the rain, is that it was perhaps magically started. But then again, that's why ships have wizards, is so that they can do battle and burn down enemy ships. That's why fire is a premium for a ship wizard. Lessons learned, even though you never actually trained Meidrax to be a ship wizard.
Well, it's only been 2 days.
No, I know. You guys have fucked up bad. Webb kind of just mutters out like something to the effect of you're close to him, but it's like something like, "Damn the gods," and then you hear boots slosh up next to you, and you hear a familiar voice behind you, and it's, "Dear gods, man, what has happened here?" It's Lieutenant Anlo is behind. His hand is on his hip, and he gives you guys kind of a dirty look, and he's looking around, and he's like, "Well?"
Phen, so Webb's on his knees, right?
Yeah.
So Phen grabs him by his collar and says, "I need to talk to you now, alone."
Do I see the young recruit I sent back to town anywhere?
You don't know. At least not really. But there are soldiers on the kind of on the docks and places as well. After the explosion, like there were shrieks and like from the audience and whatnot. So a lot of people have backed away from the docks. Several people on the colorful ship seem to be moving around now, uncertain of what's going on. The Carinwin appears to be attempting to move across the harbor, but it's slow going because of the seas. You hear another peal of thunder. Webb looks at you, Phen.
So Phen grabs him, pulls him close and says, "There's some bad stuff happening. Your office now."
You hear,
Hit the deck.
and the beacon explodes. Brick shrapnel flies everywhere, and now there's just screaming as rubble falls around. And you hear,
I want to. Can I see this one?
perception check.
Oh, sweet. Well, not that sweet. I have -2. 14.
It takes you a moment to spot what you're looking for, and right as you do, you lose it in the crowd, or you lose it as like people run past you, and you can't. The angle, like, you know what I mean? Like you have it for a brief moment, and then you lose it, kind of like a golf ball or something, right? And then out in the street, just giant plume of dirt just explodes upward, and now you see more plumes coming. You can't quite see where they're coming from, but you hear the sound, and you see just like a trail of a little bit of smoke. It's very little smoke because these aren't like missiles, but the almost like a weird shimmer in the rain as whatever it is passing through, right?
How is it? Just one?
No.
How close are they to each other?
The closer they get to shore, the more they branch out.
Mm.
Some of them are fairly close together, some of them are not.
Meidrax looks for the biggest bundle of them and throws a fireball at them when they're in range.
Okay. It will require an Arcana check to try to time that. If it's still
Roll
worth it to you.
well.
Oh, okay.
18.
You got it. You shoot out and this bead of light just goes out, and then about 50, 60 feet over the dock, just massive explosion of fire, and there's more screams and whatnot. But you see 3 explosions out from the side of that, basically blocking what you think. You don't have a real great judge of the direction, but you think you might have just saved, at least from the first salvo, or from this first salvo, the Half Harbor Inn. So your stuff is okay. My bedroll!
I've got mine okay, thank goodness.
At this point, it is pure panic. Now you're getting jostled by crowds as the people are fleeing, just running north, south, wherever they can to get away. Soldiers are running down towards the dock. Webb is now up and acting. Now he's in combat. Now he knows something's wrong. This wasn't a fire. This wasn't a problem. This is an attack. He starts giving out orders. Anlo is trying to tell him other things to do, and he's just ignoring him.
I'm going to go to the end of the dock and look for these, make sure to keep my eyes open for these, whatever they are coming into town, these missiles or rockets or whatever.
As you get down to the dock, you're looking around. I'm going to give you just the same like look, but you know what to look for now. You do see a couple flying. They're pretty far apart, but they're heading towards the shore. They're very hard to track. Some of them have high trajectory, some of them have lower trajectory.
Okay.
You start to let's just say you start to like throw a fire bolt or something, right?
Yeah. I have a fire bolt to throw at them.
Right. So you start to do that, and right as you do, someone to the side of you screams, and you look over, and there are men in grayish wool coats, jumping up onto the dock. They all have swords, and they have started attacking people. So you turn around just in time to see a Darum soldier get run through and thrown into the harbor. And then some of the peasants nearby scream as they see this, and they start to run away. There are 5 men pouring out of what is it looks not quite like it's like a little like speedboat skiff type thing, kind of metal clad, weird design, yeah. And as you kind of look around, you actually see some more of these. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, please say it's initiative time.
It's not, yet, quite, but because I think this would be hard to track an initiative. So as you kind of look out and get your bearings, you see more of these almost seem to shimmer through the rain, as they, I think I've used that word way too much, but like all of a sudden you catch sight of these, and they're just flying towards the dock, and then emerging kind of from the mist of the harbor and the smoke that was the Istria is a bigger ship, like an actual warship, and it is coming towards the dock fast. I would like a perception check, Meidrax. I will give you advantage because because of something you did the other night.
I got an 8.
These men in their gray suits with red shoulder pads look kind of familiar, but you can't place it.
Yeah.
Anyway, to those of you not on the dock, you see all of a sudden all hell has broken loose. A ship is bearing down on the dock. These little boats have arrived. Men are pouring out of the boats. Anyone trained in perception can make a check. I don't know who's trained in perception offhand.
Not I.
I think Phen
23.
Me
Phen,
neither.
You see a little bit of something. You see the guys arrive in the boat, right? And like 5 of them pour out of this boat. But you also, for a brief moment, you think you see someone emerge from like the water. So you think like they must be. Some people are jumping out of the dock, and some people are jumping out of the boat to get to land faster. And some of these quote unquote enemy soldiers have, because you're still processing what's happening, have actually run up onto the shore and the land past the dock and are engaging with what soldiers are stationed here from the room. So it's basically soldiers with red insignias, which they look like Dernhost soldiers. Dernhost, like, attack troops. And they are engaged with Darum soldiers, fighting desperately. Next to you, Webb draws his pistol and just starts making his way down towards but he's still yelling out orders. Anlo looks down and sees what's happening, and sees the ship and says, "Dear gods!" And he draws his pistol as well, and he actually draws his saber. And he kind of looks around. He sees a pocket of soldiers over to the right. He yells at them and he runs over to them. His soldiers. What are we gonna do? Not initiative yet, but
Phen is going to follow Anlo
okay.
to his soldiers to assist him.
Okay. I need quick answers from everyone because we are actually on a timer for this. Lex, what is Shae doing? Cowering in fear or just being like, "Oh my god, what's that?" is also a viable, valid option.
I'm gonna look for civilians and help them out.
You are very close to Mirabelle, who is clutching at, like, has her hands over her face and is, like, sobbing and, like, terrified.
I'm gonna try and drag it to safety. Get it to safety.
Are you gonna try to go east with her, or are you gonna try to get her into the Brass and Barley, which is the building you're next to? She's, like, leaning up against the wall, clutching at, like, her hand at her mouth, or then, like, on her heart.
Well, can I see what the rest of the civilians were doing?
They are running. Some people you think have sheltered down into the Brass and Barley. There's actually a window next to you. You look in, you see Taran in there. And he's kind of, like, looking out. He's got, like, a kitchen knife. Some of the kitchen staff are in there.
Yeah, then I'm gonna drag her inside and protect the people inside.
Grim, what are you doing?
Following Shae.
Okay. Meidrax, when you were distracted by this stuff coming ashore, you lost sight of the shelling, and there are more explosions behind you. You see the artisan building explode in many places, and you see parts of it collapse and crumble. And your initial thought, well, I don't know if this is really Meidrax.
Oh, Roken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's from the point of view of, like, oh, our friend, or like, oh shit, I was gonna work for him.
A little of both.
Yeah. You see, you don't see, but other things happen. Like, part of the stables explode. So the farmlands around. The church gets hit near the front door and collapses part of, like, the stonework at the front of it. Or it's not stone, it's timber, I guess, but some of the timber at the front. The half harbor takes a shell into the roof, and there's an explosion that rocks the building in the corner. But you think it's out where, like, near where the privies are. It's not the building proper. More shells explode in the street and whatnot. This is a little bit more of a wildfire than because maybe their attack didn't have a locked-in position for reasons. The other team is screwed. They haven't found the mortar nest. This is going to happen to them. I'm not going to take away everything they love. That wouldn't be fair. Meidrax, what you going to do?
I'm just trying to shoot them down on the dock.
That's fine. We'll get back to you in a moment. Go ahead and make me 3 Arcana checks, but we'll get back to you in a bit. Phen, you're following Anlo. He gets to the group of men. He gives them orders. He sends them down basically to charge the docks to repel these people.
Where do you need me, Anlo?
He looks down at you and he says, "Have a mind to put a bullet in you."
Where do you need me, Anlo?
He looks down at the dock and he says, "Kill them or save them." And he points, so his pistol he points down towards the enemy soldiers. His saber he points towards groups of civilians that are trying to get out.
Phen goes to the soldiers.
Okay. You see Meidrax down on the dock, on a finger of the dock. the fighting hasn't quite reached the colorful ship yet, and the big ship is approaching like the left side, so it's going to crash into like the part of the dock in front of the brass and barley. And actually, at this point, it does. It just slams aground, just with this terrible screeching sound. The dock explodes in places. People are thrown away. It just hits and collides, and it finally comes to a rest with a terrible sound. You see Meidrax, and Meidrax fires 3 firebolts into the air. How'd you do on those rolls?
I got 2 18s and a 20.
You just nail 3 mortars. You think you probably just saved several of the ships on the dock. You got them pretty low to the ground, so there's explosions very close.
Yeah. I can twin and quicken spells too. I am just trying to take them all out.
Oh, I wasn't going to steal your special abilities outside of... But I wasn't sure if it was worth it for... Because these are coming in salvos, so you don't necessarily know how many there are.
Yeah, I only have 1 fireball left, so I got to save that.
Yeah, so I figured you were just kind of like, firebolt. Okay, I have time for another firebolt. Because you're able to kind of pick them out rather than being like, oh, there's 2. Twin. I'm going to say the having to catch them is hard math to do, and aim, so you're probably firing more firebolts than you're hitting. You know what I mean? So you're just like, firebolt, 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 and you hit one.
I got you.
Yeah. So I'm not going to take any of your twin spell. It's not going to... The fact that you can do that, I'm going to give you a bonus to it, but I'm not going to actually take the point away, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Dude.
Phen, you see Meidrax, you see the soldiers to your right, but as you look at Meidrax and you see him take out some of these things, you see that he does not notice several gray and red soldiers coming towards the Dragonborn shooting off fire. You think you can make it to him if you really try.
This is a different group than...
So you can join the charge with... you're a little bit behind the soldiers who just charged in. They're fighting. They fired their guns as they approached. They knocked a couple of the guys out. One of them got taken out by a shotgun blast or something. And then they collide. Now they're fighting with bayonets and their daggers and their swords and whatnot. And they're back and forth. You could go and probably turn the tide, maybe a little bit, in the Darum soldiers' favor. Or at least stalemate it because they are outnumbered. Or you can go help Meidrax, who... as you look, you're pretty sure he's about to get swarmed by several armed men at the end of like a piece of the dock. I imagine George's eyes are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, please, don't.
Phen will scream, "Meidrax, you're behind you! Meidrax behind you!" Like as just loud as you can.
Okay. From over your shoulder, you hear just as Anlo fires 3 shots from his revolver, and you just see kind of across the front of you, just 3 soldiers drop. Just dead.
In front of me or in front of...
He's helping your team. But he was standing next to you, so now that you're running and yelling, he's behind you, and he just fires 3 shots and drops people.
Okay.
Meidrax, make a perception check.
My favorite. Oh my goodness! I got a 17. I rolled a 19.
I was going to say, I'm not going to be mean and give you disadvantage. Even though I should, for all the explosions happening. You hear someone shout your name over the din of the crowd.
I mean, I'm still blasting off firebolts,
You
right?
are.
I can't look away.
Yeah. You see a trail of smoke heading right towards this colorful ship, over towards your right a little bit. Take aim and Arcana check.
22.
Fuck. You realize exactly where it's going to be, you train on it, and the firebolt just goes right through it, and it explodes like in a reverse mushroom cloud, and like a smoke ring comes out, right? You just blow right through it. Alright. And then you feel a blade sink into your back.
Ouch!
Who was that?
Close to me.
I mean, there's no way I can cast.
Do you have to be able to see the attack coming?
I don't think so. I'll check.
Because he basically snuck up on you.
It doesn't say I have to see it, but I'm not paying attention. So up to you.
I'm gonna say that you had made your perception check, but you decided not to turn. So I'm gonna say you take the 4 damage, and it's only 4 damage. As a short sword just kind of buries in you. Now you are aware of the 3 men behind you. This one stabbed you, and you don't immediately fall down, so now the other 2 close in a little bit. Shae, you grab Mirabelle and you get her into the brass and barley. There are several people cowering in here. You see that part of the wall at the back end looks ruined. Near the back entrance, it's kind of caved in a little bit. And a quick glance around, you see a couple of people you reckon. So Taran is behind the bar. He's grabbing some things. It looks like he's loading an old long gun. You don't see Roken. You don't see Sarah. You do not see Yvette. So it's just Mirabelle, the cooks, and you do not see Gabriel or Yuri, whatever his name is.
Is there a basement? I yell out.
There is a cellar, yes.
Everybody in the basement in the cellar.
You'll start listening to, or start kind of look at you and stare, and Mirabelle looks up at you, and then her eyes get wide, and she kind of shakes her head, and she puts her hands on your shoulders, and she like pats very pat. She's like yes, and she said, "You go back and help, help the others." And she starts yelling out orders for people to grab their stuff and get in, and she gets everyone and gets them down into the cellar, which is below the bar. She grabs at Tarn and he pushes her away, and he says, "No, you lock them in," and he hands her his knife, and you stab anyone who comes through the door. And she closes the thing. He kind of pushes her down the steps, and he closes the cellar door behind her. And then he cocks the long gun and walks out from behind the bar, goes over to a window, smashes it with the butt of the rifle, and shoves the gun out and aims for a moment. And then you just hear the thunder as he shoots into the enemies. So now you're free to do whatever.
Cool. Can I join him in the cellar?
Can you what? Yeah.
Can I join him in the cellar?
You're going to get stabbed. So you open the beer bottle.
I turn to Grim, who I believe is with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know where the others are? Did you see them? Where's Meidrax?
He headed
look
for
out
the
the
docks.
window and you just see fire, and explosions.
There he is.
And as you look, you see him get stabbed in the back.
Oh shit! There he was.
Well,
we didn't have time to find any diamonds. God damn it.
yeah, he's the jewel. Let's be clear. He's the jeweler here. Like he is the one who is woefully unprepared. No. What do you guys?
Should have had that diamond.
Put my hand on the Grim's shoulder and say, let's do our best. With no confidence whatsoever. I did not sign up for a war, and then I'll go outside again and try to help the people. Go to the docks.
To fight?
I'm going to try and save Meidrax, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It'll take you a slight bit of time to get there. Phen. It's like a slight incline down towards the dock, and you just jump down it and join the battle.
So, can I jump down and try to land on somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Like a bad guy?
Oh yeah. I'm glad you specified, but yeah.
Yeah, like I want to land on a bad guy with the pointy end of my sword.
Make me an attack.
The sword blade is nature's shock absorber.
That's true.
25.
Yeah, you kill him. Just right through him.
Yes!
You just hit him like right to the side of the sternum and drive it in, and he stops your fall. And like, there's a brief moment where everyone kind of stops, and like the Droom soldiers go, "Holy shit!" And the other soldiers don't really stop, but now you're in it. But now you're at the front. Now there's other people around. Give me 3 more attack rolls.
Okay, so on the way down, Phen was just screaming at the top of his little halfling lungs, for Baytown! Do you want my attack modifier?
Yeah, no, these are
well?
attack. These are attack rolls.
Okay, so 22, 24, and 13.
Okay. You pull your sword out, and as you do, something comes down on you from the left, and just chirp up, send it away, and you follow up stabbing right through another man's gut, and then you turn, and another man's coming in. You parry that with the backslash of your sword, which I don't think is named.
It's not.
Okay. You have a rapier, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you kind of turn it away. Fairly close call, but you turn it away, and you just punch up with Chirp up into his face, and just cave in his nose, and he reels back, and just a quick stab into him. You don't know if that killed him immediately, but it certainly took him out, and he falls into the dirt, and he's bleeding. He will die probably without medical attention. You turn to a third man, and he bears down at you, and you kind of stab at him. You kind of get locked in combat with him, but you have gained a little bit of room. You hear there's 2 more shots from Anlo ring out. Another man who was running kind of towards the group with his sword drawn, or like an axe in his hand, just falls with 2 bullets in his chest. Meidrax. You got 3 guys bearing down on you. The one who just stabbed you is coming in for another swing. What do you do?
Are there still shells raining down?
They are harder to see with your back towards the harbor, but there are no current explosions happening. So it might be the reloading phase.
Okay. He will quickly turn. There's 3 of them?
Yes.
Okay. He will... Oh, snap. This is going to be a B. He is going to...
Remember, we're not quite in combat, so I will entertain options.
He's going to...
I have war or battle rules that are like for groups that don't really pertain to the actual game. So, if you have a cool
also,
solution.
it's AMLO with an E at the end?
No, it's Anlo, A-N-L-O-W.
Okay. A-N-E... Whatever, I'll get it later.
A-N-L-O-W.
He's gonna, this is such a tough call. This is gonna be all his spells, pretty much. He's going to twin Mind Spike and Quicken it.
Okay, so as a bonus action, you're going to cast Mind Spike on 2 of them?
Yes.
No roll. They just clutch their heads. They drop what they were doing. You see them shake violently, and they kind of seize up, and they both just fall in the water. You grabbed the 2, I'll say just for cinematic sake, you grabbed the 2 that were behind the guy whose blade is wet with your blood. And he kind of looks back and sees that, and he looks up at you, and he comes in with his sword to
then I'm going to do my regular action, firebolt him in the face.
That's going to take a roll.
Okay. Is he, like, right up on me?
I'll let you have it without disadvantage.
Oh, okay, thank you. Got a 20. To hit.
You want to tell me how it happens?
I release the firebolt in the sizzling and sizzles in the rain, and do rolling damage.
No.
Okay. And just slams into his face. If he has a helmet on, it catches the dry hair under it on fire.
No, he did not have a helmet.
Okay, so he's burnt really bad.
Yeah, no, it basically caves in his face.
Nice.
And burns him terribly. He falls to the ground, just smoldering in the rain.
All right, and I turn back towards the lake.
Grim and Shae, you are about halfway to the dock when you see Meidrax take out the 3 goons. But now he's just kind of standing there with his back to smoldering human. You look out to the left, and suddenly there's kind of just a big ship that wasn't there, crashed into the shore a minute ago. And there's a noise that sounds like screeching metal on metal, and then you hear what sounds like a chain of a chain going through something, like an anchor dropping. Except instead of an anchor falling down to be like, we're here, the front of the ship opens and crashes down to the ground, sending splinters of the little outhouse that was below it just shattered everywhere. And from the open ship pour out just these men in the woolen, the gray wool and red shoulder pads, loping at you. Just some of them almost like animalistic in how they're coming at you, and some of them running more just like the other soldiers. What do you do? They're not coming just for you, they're also coming for the other soldiers that are around.
Can I panic? I feel like this is a good moment.
I mean,
to
it's
panic.
a bonus action, but yeah.
Okay.
It's cool, you don't have any potions to take anyway.
That's true. Grim, do you have any idea?
Yeah, you think there's any possible way we could convince Meidrax and Phen to just get the fuck out of here?
I mean, I doubt it, and I don't want to leave all these people behind.
No, I'm thinking we take as many of them with us as we can, and we head for the woods and get out of town. Whatever's coming, this is only the beginning.
Right.
In the meantime, let's go kill a few of them and try and save our friends.
Fair enough. This has been a bad day, by the way. Did I make that clear yet? I want to make that clear. This has been a bad day.
Are you going to try to meet this charge that's coming for you, or are you going to retreat from this one and head down to like Meidrax and Phen? Phen, who you don't see at the moment, actually.
We're still headed for Meidrax, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to try and unsplit the party.
Okay. You head down the docks. There are a couple enemy soldiers in your way who have cut down the allies who were currently opposing them. You'll have to go through them to get to Meidrax. How do you do it?
So we're not... This is like still more non-initiative combat fun, right?
I'll tell you when it's... Once we roll initiative, it'll be battle. Classic D&D style. Until then, it's classic arc.
Well, I'm going to try and drop a sacred flame right between one of their eyes. How about that?
Alright. It doesn't catch him, but he does...
Oh yeah, that's not a roll.
So he dives aside, but it does kind of make an opening. You can either plow right through, And Shae, you're gonna have to make this decision. You think with him just kind of moving to the side enough, you think you can plow right through and get past them, or you can take the time to cut them down.
I'm moving
It's gonna
past.
slow you up.
I want to step into the opening after Grim has gone through, and use a sword burst.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What's your DC?
My DC is not that high, 15.
All right, you just cleave one open. It catches him just way too readily. The other one takes a wound across the stomach and staggers backwards and actually drops what he was carrying and kind of falls half to the ground. The other one dives aside out of the way and is fine. But it just left you completely open to get through. And Grim actually doesn't even have to defend himself as he just blazes through and gets out onto the dock.
Follow Grim, I don't stop.
Okay. As you reach the dock, you see on kind of the next finger of the dock over, you see the colorful ship. You hear kind of a weird humming sound through the rain, and actually, it almost feels like the rain is maybe letting up a little bit. It's not the heavy giant drops and the torrential downpour, but it's definitely still raining. And through that, you hear like a humming sound, and kind of feel that ozone vibration of magic. And the front of the ship, which is a hummingbird, its wings actually kind of like flare with like colored light, and the feathers kind of open up a little bit, and they turn, so that rather than being just flat wood against the ship where this figurehead was carved into, they kind of fold out from that, and other sails along the side of the ship kind of drop and fold out. Not like sails like a normal ship, but sails like horizontal, right? Almost like awnings. You see various people moving around the deck from what you can see. Ropes are being tossed, people are moving, and a woman is standing at the helm. A woman with dark brown skin and curly hair under a tricorner hat. She's wearing a big like a big red coat, like a classic pirate coat, like big red coat. Fairly unlike
Captain Hook from Hook, but a girl.
Maybe she doesn't look as slender as some of her other passengers. She's a little bit more curvy, but like as you see her, she's just barking out commands, and she has her hand on something next to the big wheel, and it's glowing and pulsing with power. And you hear a weird creaking sound, and some of the lines go taut around. And then you see lines being cast off the ship from the boat side, and one holds and persists. And then all of a sudden you see a woman with like big like poofy dreadlocks lean over the side, and just with one swipe of a sword cuts right through the line. She catches your eye and she smiles wide, just stark against the rain. And as soon as that line is cut, the ship begins to lift out of the water.
Whoa!
Slowly at first, but then gaining speed.
She is Captain Hook.
And as
How far away is she?
this is about 50 feet because it's on the next like part of the dock over.
Damn, I really want to throw a guiding bolt at her.
Why?
'Cause she's flying, and I don't like it.
So she
Birdist.
Did you just call him a birdist?
I think
Yes.
So the ship starts to take off, and she actually kind of pushes it forward. She doesn't wait for it to get out. She pushes it forward so it scrapes against the dock, breaks some stuff open. and that ship that they're taking off, and they look like they're on trajectory to maybe make it over the artisan buildings.
Maybe make it over?
Yeah, she's pushing it pretty hard. And you see, kind of along the side of the ship, some of the women who had been in the colorful dresses and whatnot, who had been like partying and had been around, the ones who had waved to you, the prostitutes, are leaning over, and they have like their hands over their mouths, and they're watching. And as the larger, kind of more powerful built woman with the bouncy dreadlocks comes by, she pulls them away from the deck, tells them something, and they scuttle inside. And you see that the deck is kind of taken over by these three women, all dark-skinned. So you think maybe from Kasan. One of them has a crossbow, and another has a rifle, and they aim over the side of the ship. And as they take shots and drop some of the attacking soldiers. And then after a couple of volleys, the ship is turned too far away. So once you kind of collect yourselves, you run back towards Meidrax. But now you see that more men are bearing down on you. Phen, your group of soldiers has beaten back the attack on this side for now. You see some scattered enemies around. There are only 2 Jerum soldiers and Anlo with you, all breathing heavy. You don't see any civilians. It seems like all the civilians have run. Fires have broken out in town, even in the rain. The artisan building seems to be on fire. And you can smell the smell of like burning iron and grease, very much like a forge. Down at the dock, you see more of these men scattered around. But as you look to the left, where the big ship crashed in, you see dozens of them pouring in, and you realize that very soon you are going to be incredibly outnumbered and overrun.
What do you think about getting out of here now?
You see your party ahead on the right. If you were to run down to the dock, you could get to them. Anlo is talking to his men, and he says, "All right, men, prepare. We must head them off. We cannot let them have Baytown."
Oh, fireball.
You haven't seen this.
Oh, damn it.
The other two, Grim and Shae, saw it and have now run up to you. They're almost to you. They're probably about 15 feet away from you. You don't know that, but you were shooting at mortars, and actually you see more mortars coming through the sky now. You count 6.
Ben is going to look at Anlo and like point at the big group of baddies that are getting off the boat and say, "We need to stop this." Unless that's what he was like saying, prepare for.
Yeah, no, he flips his pistol to the side. The chamber opens. He opens his breast pocket, pulls out one of those little fast loaders, puts more bullets in, tosses the little piece of metal aside, flips it back in his hand, and cracks it back, pulls back the hammer, and says, "I intend to die if I don't."
Does he have the same type of gun that I have strapped to my back?
No, he has the same type of gun that Webb has. Essentially, it looks like a peacemaker, or a Colt Navy revolver.
Okay.
Yours is a triple shot with a fairly large caliber. Shell.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it out and say, "I want to be cool too. Let's go!" And make that
fire back into the mud.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start running and fiddle with it for a second, and then scream, "Oh, it must be out of ammo!" and then like toss it ahead of me, and try to throw it so that the point stays forward, so that if it lands and it goes off, it's gonna hit a bad guy and not me.
I'm pretty sure you specified it is not loaded.
That's right. I did say that.
You did tell me that. I will allow you to retcon what you are doing, rather than throwing it.
Yeah.
'Cause you know it's not loaded, but you did tell me that.
Yeah, I won't pull it off my back. Then I'll just start charging.
Are you sticking with them, or are you going to go to your friends? Who seem to be running away from this at the moment. But out onto the dock where there's no escape.
Yeah, so I'm going to go deal with that big group.
Okay.
That's what Phen would do.
Grim, Shae, you have Meidrax ahead of you on the dock. The Hummingbird ship has now cleared and is going away from town and seems to be on its way northeast.
They had the right idea. So, we're almost to Meidrax then?
Yeah, you're like 10 feet away from him.
Meidrax, buddy, we gotta get out of here. There's a lot more bad guys coming. Where's Phen?
I don't know. I haven't seen him for a moment.
I want to scan around and see if I can spot Phen.
Yeah, so as you kind of look back and look around, you see that Phen and a very few soldiers are running to meet this charge of dozens of enemies. You hear "Krakow" and another lightning bolt, but this bolt doesn't just strike like the others have over the lake. You see one of the small buildings kind of to the side of the harbor just explode as this lightning bolt crashes through it. And it came at an angle. It did not come from the sky. Okay. And as you kind of trace it back, you see a figure kind of emerge from the rain, shedding like almost as if the rain is washing away a cloak of invisibility, and just this woman is emerging. She's got wild black curly hair. She's fairly scantily clad to be out in the rain, but she's got flowing black robes.
Would you say she looks necromancer-y?
She looks like Bellatrix Lestrange, or Lestrange, or however. And so this woman, and she has still a crackling like wand in her hand, and as she's flying, very like almost more like levitating, rather than like Superman flying, and she just like casually like tosses the wand aside and like flies back over town, and you see her hand come up and she just fires. You don't recognize the spell necessarily, but you just see magic coming from her hands as she just begins kind of barraging town and blowing up buildings. You hear screams now as things start to get wrecked back up. It seems like she might be less interested in the soldiers that remain and more interested in the civilians.
Hey guys, Phen's going that way. We just came from over there. We gotta go get him.
Meidrax, as you kind of look at what they're doing, you hear...
Yeah, I'm black firebolt.
You get 3 firebolts up in the air, and you take out 3 mortars. One very close to you guys. I want you guys to make dexterity saving throws.
13.
20 total.
Okay.
12.
Meidrax, you and Shae both fall off the dock into the water.
Oh, not
As
water
this
again.
Explosion happens right next to you. You take no damage though. You fall off as you kind of stagger away. Meidrax, you did get 3 of the 6 you had seen previously before this exchange kind of distracted you. So you easily saved some of the other ships, and some of the certainly kept yourselves from getting blown apart. But you see that you don't see, but the artisans thing gets hit again. The half harbor gets hit. Like the trading post that's part of the artisan thing gets hit. It's where like some of the caravans guard their wares and whatnot. Okay, Shae and Meidrax, you swim back up, gasping. You grab onto the edge of the dock and start to pull yourselves up when you feel something grab you by the legs and thighs.
So much! There's so much going on.
Phen. Yeah, well, maybe don't split the party and maybe you'd have an easier time. Phen. No, I'm kidding, of course.
Sorry,
You're
man.
attacking from 5 angles.
Oh yeah, no. Let's be clear what percentage of what's happening we're at right now. You're not there yet.
Oh shit! It's gonna get better.
We haven't rolled initiative yet, sir.
I know it's awesome.
Man.
When I was like, maybe let's not drink tonight, this is what I meant.
Yeah, no, that's a good
I am very
good
hungry.
point.
Anyway, the Phen. You and Anlo are charging next to each other, and he says, "Halfling."
Phen responds.
Yeah, I am. And he goes,
Human.
"I'm sorry for before," and then you hit the enemy line, and he just cuts through a guy and barrels another one over him, and just starts firing his pistol as the other like 2 men and there's like 1 or 2 soldiers who managed to join you for this. What are you doing?
So Phen is going.
I think that the rogue is
full
the
on.
front line defender here.
So Phen is going full on like. Do you remember
Jumanji.
Brad Pitt in Gladiator?
Troy.
Or yeah, Troy.
Yeah.
He's
Through the
like
neck.
yeah,
Can't jump
through the
that high.
net, like stabbing people with his sword, jumping off.
You're riding on Anlo. Yeah.
Sorta. More athletic though. Like he'll find a leg and like kick off of it and
Gotcha.
come down with his sword as he's jumping and then smash somebody else with chirp just as hard as he can go.
Okay. You have an inspiration, right? Somewhere.
I do not.
Okay,
I used it last time.
You have one now. But to see how cool this is, or if you get stabbed, give me 2 acrobatics checks and 3 attacks.
So a 10 and a 19 on acrobatics. And my attacks. A 9, a 17, and a 25.
I like to think you run in, you're like, yeah, and you just immediately just punch in the face and fall. Oh, you don't as spectacularly do your first little move that you want to, but you do manage to slide between a guy's legs and then attack the people behind him.
Nice.
And do some nice kipping and through. You cripple and or kill 2 of them before you kind of get pushed back and have to kind of like retreat a little bit. But what you're facing off against now is wearing a it's like a soldier, but it's like kind of hunched over and it's lunging at you with it doesn't have daggers. It has like gloves with like sharp claws on them almost. And the way it's attacking you is like very hunched and like clawing at you, almost like animalistic. And like it leaped down at you and started to try to like get you. And I say it, but I mean it's clearly built as a as a man and is wearing the same outfit, but it's wearing a like a gas mask over its face.
Like a modern one or one of
Like-
the old bird-like ones? Bird-looking
Oh
ones?
no, not like a plague doctor mask, like a World War I, like full leather encased glass eyes
Okay.
tube going down. So you're facing off against that now. Other party.
Can I reach Shae?
Yeah, you guys are like next to each other.
I want to grab
feel
her
hands
and
on you.
pull her, or like throw her up onto the dock.
Okay, that's gonna take a hell of a strength check.
Can I see them from the edge of the dock? Can I go over and try to help them up?
I mean, you know where they fell off, so I imagine you ran over there. And yeah, as soon as you see Shae, you're probably gonna grab at her or Meidrax to help them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
I got a total of 17.
Okay. Shae, you feel someone shove you from behind, and you kind of like rock it up a little bit, and you feel the like almost these grasping hands like claw at you, but you slip out, and Grim grabs you by the shoulder and pulls you up on you, roll onto the dock, and you're fine. Meidrax.
And then
yeah.
I'm gonna dive under after that.
Okay, you start to dive under and don't get the choice as you are pulled by the more clawing, grasping hands. I'd like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, goodness.
That doesn't sound good.
I rolled a 1, so I got a 5.
I was going to say he's regretting using his inspiration. You swallow a lot of water. You went to take a big breath right as they pulled you under. You're going to take 4 damage just as you kind of like shock your system. And you desperately need to get back out of the water. This is what happened to the party the other day.
That's why I said not water again.
Yeah, well, it's a coast. What am I going to do? Not use it? Silly. Meidrax, you open your eyes in a panic, and what you see are dozens and dozens of shambling forms just walking across the silty bottom. And several of them have grabbed you, but they're all along the dock area. And the ones you can see look like men who have been underwater for a little while.
May Geld's justice find them all.
They are
glad we
beyond
don't
that
have
now.
cameras.
What?
I'm so glad we don't have cameras right now. I am, panicking and rubbing my face.
Just sweat pouring down.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Can I see any of this
underwater.
going on?
It's dark and it is stormy. Oh, what was the phrase I came up with earlier today? Lex, you catch your breath, and Meidrax does not follow. But he did take a deep... It did look like he was starting to take a deep breath before he went under, so you don't know if he dove back under to get him. You did hear a little bit of a gurgle, and there are no bubbles.
Is there like a rock near my feet?
There's probably
Like,
some debris.
I'm looking for anything solid that'll sink into the water.
There's a dagger or a sword.
Perfect.
Nearby, yeah.
I pick up the sword and I cast light on it and I toss it into the water.
Okay, wait. What are we doing with this?
I'm trying to see what's going on with Meidrax. I'm casting light on the sword and throwing it into the water.
Okay. You see... Oh god, this would be so cool.
Yeah, I know. Hey, that's the coolest visual ever.
So you just see Meidrax, like, clawing at the water, going down, and you see these other dark forms around him, and you see what looks like... It almost just looks like if you were to drop a light into water of, like, statues, right? Except they're moving. But now it's too hard to see because of the waves and all that. And the spell ends.
Can I start flying upside down and just dip on the water and grab Meidrax and try and pull him out?
You don't necessarily have a reason to believe that won't work.
I'll give that a go then.
I love responses like that.
Okay, you grab him and pull. Meidrax, I would like you to make an athletics check to try to break.
I push her hand away.
Oh. I would like you to make contested rolls, though. You can make an acrobatics check or a strength or an athletics check.
I'm going to.
Just shock him.
No, I think I'm going to. If it's going to be difficult, I think I'm going to cast suggestion on him.
I think he has to be able to hear you.
Yeah.
He's underwater.
Fair.
And also, so is your head.
Also fair. So a contest has what?
Rules for water across. So it's basically a grapple. So you can you're an athletics check. He's athletics or acrobatics to get away. And he actually has advantage because he's being pulled down.
Two.
12.
Okay. Well, Shae, no, you don't grab him. You can't get a grip on him.
I'm already drowning, essentially, right?
You've started. Yeah, you're gonna take damage.
Okay.
every once in a
Okay,
while.
I'm going to go ahead and then cast message.
This
Run.
doesn't mean you're dead. You can still get out of this. I'm just...
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But I'm going to cast message to Shae and say, run. There's too many down here. You can reply to this message.
At the end.
To trying to pull you out. No, come on, man. It's only... We can get you out of here, and then we can run. We're not gonna leave you here like this.
I swim down into the horde.
Okay.
No.
You can go ahead and cast that fireball if you want to.
I'm waiting for them to, like, just swarm me.
Oh, they're doing it. The ones who are paying any attention to you are swarming you.
Fireball.
You see this happening, Shae, and are able to get away and get up in time, but you might want to grab Grim, because you're going to need to run. You see the glow start.
Well, I don't think I can carry Grim.
Oh, you can't.
So,
No. You can't carry anyone else. The boots will fail the moment you try to carry another person, but you don't know that. But something's about to explode beneath you.
Alright, so I'll get away. Try to get away.
Grim, you just watch her fly away.
Where are you going?
Run!
Oh, shit.
Meidrax, roll the damage.
Do I get a saving throw? Alright. Oh, okay, not bad. Couple of ones in here. 24 damage.
I was gonna say the key is to do less than 24 damage. Shae and Meidrax, or sorry, Shae and Grim, as you're running down the dock, and Grim, you're like, wait, what is happening? You keep looking back. The water just explodes behind you, and the dock erupts as this bright white light goes off underwater. God, it's unfortunate that you're not resistant to fire. That'd be super helpful right now.
Yeah.
I would like you to make a dexterity check is out of the question. I would like you to make an Arcana or Religion check.
Arcana. Got an 8.
That's not great.
Wow, Meidrax is dead. Or at least making death saves drowned.
Yeah. You're not gonna like how I do that, by the way.
That's okay.
Yeah, you are just torn apart as this fireball goes off. And then black. Possibly a little smile on your face. Phen, you're fighting this weird animal guy. You're having trouble getting at him. He's fighting you like a ghoul would fight you, like trying to get on you and tear you down, rather than like a trained soldier with weapons. And all of a sudden, out in the water, you just hear this massive explosion of water, and this big plume of water as the bay cavitates from something. But this guy is also distracted, and for a brief moment, everyone kind of turns. Well, not everyone, most people kind of turn, and you run him through with your rapier. And there's a weird squealing, hissing sound, and he collapses and convulses on the ground and then stops moving. And you kind of gather yourself, and you see these are pretty heavy fight. 2 of the Durum soldiers have fallen. But there are there are a couple more that had joined you. Anlo is fighting. He's being pressed back a little bit, but he's holding his own pretty well. You look to your left briefly, and you see actually that Webb has joined from the side, and he's using his pistol as well as his sword. You see him starting to kind of get overwhelmed a little bit, and then as you kind of look back toward the explosion happened, just kind of gain you see Grim and Shae running on the dock, and then they turn back to see what all happened. You do not see Meidrax.
Jesus, you just gave Phen so many choices, and he doesn't know what to do.
We can take a couple away.
So, does Phen feel like, in this split-second decision that he's making, does he feel like if he were to leave where he is, holler for Shae and Grim, and head to woods or web, do I feel like I could leave the fight that I'm in?
Webb is part of the fight you're in. He's like the left side, you're the center, and Anlo is the edge, with a couple other people involved.
Okay. So, like, it's just like a sidestep, so to speak, to get to web.
To Webb, yeah.
Okay.
Both of them are being pressed back. You're being pressed back. You guys are losing this part of the fight.
It was undead that were in the water, right?
Posthumously make a check. I'll take perception or religion.
Religion is a 17.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Undead. Okay.
Yeah. Zombie soldiers.
Okay, sorry.
You're good. Phen.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to turn the tide. So obviously I'm tired. I want to burn my warrior's second wind, even though I'm not quote-unquote hurt, as opposed to heal myself, to reinvigorate myself. Yeah, to do a wicked, like, and almost to the point of, like, a berserker rage, but, like, get super angry and just can opener blender, right?
Right as you start attacking, you hear, and coming up from behind Webb is Jaros, who you hadn't seen up till now, and he's coming from back, like from the back of the brass and barley, and you can see that one of his shoulders or one of his arms is completely limp and heavy blood on his brown duster. But he's got his pistol in his hand. He's actually got another pistol in his. He's like holding it in his teeth, and he just empties the one pistol, and then just chucks it at a guy, and then takes the other pistol and starts firing. And then you hear, like right behind you, just. I apologize to anyone listening to that. I have no idea what that's going to sound like to you. I do not use a mic pop, so that could be awful. And you kind of jump from the side, and standing next to you, or kind of back a little bit, is Gabriel, and he's got a shotgun, and he just emptied it and pops open, and pops 2 more shells in, and Jury's holding 2 hatchets.
So now I feel like my little blender moment, plus everybody else that just showed up, this fight's safe. They're going to survive.
No, they're still going to get overrun.
They're still going to get overrun.
They're fighting about 50 people. Because they never stop pouring out of that ship.
Oh, jeez.
So there's like a couple dozen on you, and they're coming.
Then I'll start screaming, Shae, Grim, up here! And try to get them to come up here.
You hear from back somewhere in the town center some sort of fizzling explosion sound, and you kind of cast the light back, and you see that the oak tree is on fire. Big green flames, with leaking red and bits. You see, for the first time, you see a woman kind of floating through town, and she's hurling magic left and right. And you see a couple civilians fall as she kills them with bolts of green energy.
Crap.
You think these guys can hold here? You do not think that this fight is necessarily tenable.
Okay. Then Phen will do his blender thing and work his way to Shae and Grim.
Okay, so you kill a guy, and then you hop out. Anlo will say, we'll kind of call over to you as you run. He says, "We'll buy you as much as we can." And he cuts another person down. So now the four of you, the three, I'm sorry.
Meidrax, dude!
The three of you are away from kind of the battle. There's nothing really happening yet. Shae and Grim, you turn back and you're kind of looking at the water. Phen, you are running up behind them, and you don't see Meidrax anywhere, and you are trying to get their attention. Feel free to repeat.
Where's Meidrax?
Grim will just turn and look and shake his head.
Phen jumps in the water.
Okay. Meidrax, make a death saving throw.
Dives in the water.
Gonna wanna roll high.
So glad I was muted. A crit, 20.
Bam!
Oh, fuck yeah.
So here's the awesome part about that. You were going to take an automatic fail for drowning.
Fair enough.
Which is what almost killed Callista, and by almost I mean killed Callista. No. That and her fireballing herself accidentally. Oh, weird. Hey guys. No, it's not important. Anyone listening will find out in a few years. Hers was wild magic, like right as she blinked out of existence. Hers was funny. Yours was pretty badass. Phen, you swim, and you see like body parts floating in the water, and just like weirdness. And you see Meidrax, and he's kind of just like floating. He's on his back, sort of floating up towards the surface. And you go and you reach out for him, and right as you reach out for him, his eyes open, his mouth opens, and he goes, "Nah!" and bubbles escape from his mouth, and then he starts thrashing.
I'll stop reaching for him because I don't want him to drown me.
Well, here's the other problem. You have 1 HP and no air in your lungs, so you immediately drown again.
Oh, okay. So
but you're fine. So he stops, and kind of like his eyes start to close as he starts to sink back down. And you grab him, and you're able to bring him up to the surface. And then as soon as he breaks the surface, Grim and Shae, you can help grab him if you want.
Grim is astonished.
Meidrax, you get your inspiration back. You are at 0 health, and you are unconscious again. But that 20 just saved your character. You get Meidrax up onto the shore, and he just like water everywhere, and a little bit of acid, but he needs stabilization and/or healing.
Let's see. We could do a little both. Does anybody else need healing, or just Meidrax?
You hear another from up in the town, and a big plume of greenish smoke rises.
Damn it!
Oh, what?
That
HP
evil bitch has
can
got to
I take,
die.
bro?
I'm sorry?
I'm at 0 HP, right?
Yeah, you're unconscious again.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
It's that Constitution check to have a breath in your lungs, and you didn't have it.
I'm going to start with my healing hands for 5 hit points.
Okay. You come round and have 5 health points.
Oh, shit.
How you feeling, big guy?
Oh. I thought I was dead.
Nope, you just wish you were. And I'm going to touch him on the shoulder and cast Cure Wounds. For, what's my new modifier? Is it still 6 or 7? 13 HP.
Nice, thanks.
As you do that, you hear some shouting, almost like war cries. And as you look kind of back up, not quite at the center of town, but coming from one of the buildings, you see meeting this group of enemies on the side, several of the caravan guards who had been in town. You think maybe all this time they were putting on armor, getting their gear, or trying to escape or whatever. But these have at least come back. There's a big burly Gerati or Dragonborn with kind of tannish brown scales. There's a blonde woman with pretty close cropped hair, but a little bit of a braid towards the back, and then a kind of wiry looking man. They're all wearing leather armor, and they all have weapons, and they start trying to cut in and helping the crowd, or fight the enemies. But as you look up, you see Jury gets stabbed and fall. But Gabriel shotguns who did it, and then grabs Jury and starts to pull him out.
The soldiers are going to fight and die. But those civilians really don't have a chance. If this is how we're all going to go out, I say we do it fighting that evil bitch that's zapping everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Let's kill her. And I'll push myself up and put my hand on Grim's shoulder and say, thank you for saving me.
Touchy-feely time is later. Let's keep going.
All right.
Actually, I have a couple of touchy-feelies I want to do before we go. I'm going to cast Aid, and all three of you are going to get additional 5 hit point maximum. Current and max goes up by 5 for 8 hours. In fact, yeah. And then I want to cast Magic Weapon on Phen's blade.
Okay.
So it's now a +1 magic weapon.
I didn't know I could do this. Guys. All right.
Have a magical day, motherfucker!
Phen, your sword is now glowing. You don't know why.
All right.
Well, I say, I mean, you know, if Phen doesn't believe in magic, his sword is just glowing. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Phen does not necessarily believe.
And you guys run towards the center of town. What you see when you get there is a little bit more depressing than you had hoped. A lot of dead civilians, well-dressed nobles, a couple farmers, possibly from this town, and most distressing, some of the victims are not adults. There are several. They look sort of like the other caravan guards. You think they're from a different caravan. You remember seeing them the other day. It's an elven woman with blonde hair, and she appears to be dressed more like a wizard, and she's got a staff, and she's holding up some sort of shimmering light in front of her and one of her compatriots. Her two comrades, one is a large man with a two-handed maul, and the other is a gnome with a crossbow, and they are trying to hold off this woman floating above them, and she fires it looks almost like a greenish flame coming out from trailing behind a ethereal green skull, and she fires that, and it just goes towards, and it hits this little shimmering shield and explodes off of it, but the force of that sends the elf woman backwards into the mud, and she skids several feet, and she lies still. You don't think she's dead, but you do think she's out from the force of it. And the two others shout, and the man with the two-handed hammer screams in rage, and lets go with one hand and takes out something from his belt and just hurls it at the flying woman. And the woman has a small black wand in her hand, and she just flicks the battle axe away, just right out of the air. Just, roll initiative. All right, 25 to 20.
Phen,
What'd you get?
24.
Fuck.
I crit.
Oh. 20 to 15. Oh shit. Here's where the plan falls apart, guys. 15 to 10.
11.
Would anyone like to use their inspiration on their initiative?
I would like to, but I'm going to save it for attacking that evil bitch.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. What'd you guys get?
4.
I got a 5.
This isn't golf, guys.
The gnome rolled a 6, so, you know. I mean, he had a better modifier than that, but,
Oh,
screw him.
no.
God, the people on this list are spread out very far because I left a lot of room in places where it was not necessary. Alright. So, I don't know if you really remember. So basically, the white oak is kind of off to your left, and all its leaves have burned away, and it's smoldering. The rains have mostly let up now. It's still raining, but it's not hard. It just would be kind of unpleasant to be out on a normal day. It's very muddy. So you're gonna want to be careful moving around. To your left, to the north, is the Half Harbor Inn. Parts of it blown away, parts of it have burned. Then directly east is the road. To the southeast is the church. And basically this fight is happening in front of the church with the Half Harbor over to the side. The caravan people are kind of between the Half Harbor and the tree. You see there are other dead people on the road to the east, including what looks like maybe a couple other caravan guards, or at least armored people. Then the road between here and the Brass and Barley, which is the southern, there are some more dead civilians, smoldering peasant robes and whatnot. Phen, open this shit up.
How far from the chick am I?
Laterally, 30 feet, but she's also like 20 feet up in the air.
Okay. So trigonometry, no.
No, it's
So
non-Euclidean.
here's,
That's 3.
here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I am going to try and get so that I'm holding my rapier in my shield hand, like not so that I could use it, just so I
it's out
can
of your
hold
way.
on to it.
Yeah.
And I'll, with my main hand, I'll reach into my bag and I'll grab that dagger.
Okay.
And while I'm running, I will huck it at her. So once I'm in range, which is 20 feet, so it's probably once I've run 10 feet.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
If my trigonometry's still good.
You don't. The D&D world is non-Euclidean.
Yeah.
So you're fine.
So I will do that.
So you're gonna throw your super magic dagger?
Yeah, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw it and try to get it to activate when it hits her.
Okay. Oh, I guess for the record, you're coming from between the Brass and Barley and the White Oak. So that's where you're coming from. But from the dock, whichever is right there.
Okay.
Okay. So you throw it at her. Go ahead and make that attack.
18.
Okay. Having just blocked the dude's axe, that will hit her. Make an Arcana check.
6.
Nope. roll your dagger damage.
Sneak attack, I'm sure, yes?
Yep.
15 damage.
Okay. It hits her, and she clutches at her side, pulls the dagger out, and throws it away.
I'll make a mental note of where she threw it.
Give me a perception check.
It's an 18, so 24.
You're generally aware.
Okay.
As you kind of also look around, you see that there's actually a wrecked wagon. Looks like maybe these guys were trying to get their caravan and go before she blew parts of it away. You also see the dead, blackened, rotting husk of a horse. 15, you said?
Yes.
Alrighty. It is the big dude's turn. He is going to yell out in angry rage. And take... so he reaches down, grabs something from the ground, and just hucks it at her.
I like this guy.
Hits her, and she kind of recoils from it. As he kind of stalks around, he kind of puts himself between her and the elf line on the ground. She points a finger at him, or her little black wand rather, and she blasts a thing of green energy, and this kind of fiery green ethereal skull goes out at him. But he ducks under it, and he just kind of sails past and hits the ground. Where it hits the ground in the mud, it turns the mud to like dry, parched ground for a moment before the rain starts to seep back into it. All right, now it is her actual turn. Raise one hand, almost like a certain elegance to it, like flare, yay! Her like wrist goes up and her fingers outstretched, and then a red orangey dot appears in her hand and starts to swirl and grow big, and then she just kind of flicks it, and this dot flies, and as it goes towards the man, it grows into a big fireball, and as it hits, he doesn't dodge out of the way, he just screams, and it hits him in the chest. The gnome dives into the mud and puts his hands over his head. Let's see. The large man takes a massive just jolt from it, and his armor, like his leather armor, like on fire and like torn open. His beard is singed. The gnome rolls over to put out the flames, but the elf is untouched. It looks like the big dude, who I will refer to as the barbarian, took a hefty hit there. It is Grimm's turn.
I will hit the bitch with a guiding bolt. That is a 17.
As the bolt flies forward, she's going to throw out her hand, and this green like mist trails it, and your guiding bolt hits the mist and it just explodes on it as her shield spell overpowers your attack. Anything else you would like to do on your turn? Move closer, move around.
Dear merch. No, I'm gonna stay back a little bit.
All right. Let's see here.
I'm just gonna stare at her menacingly.
The gnome's turn. He's gonna gather himself up, grab at his crossbow, which is now caked in mud. He'll kind of sweep some mud off of it. He'll point up at her and fire. But the thing jams, and mud flies forward as the thing goes, and the bolt comes up, curses, and starts loading it again, moving out wide, trying to get near the tree. She will, at the end of his turn, point and shoot the barbarian with another of the greenish black bolts. That hits him square in the chest.
Do I recognize that spell?
I will take an Arcana check. He reels from that blow, by the way. That hit him hard.
20.
Actually, that drops him. You believe it is a spell that you have heard of, but that is not commonly known, called Death Bolt.
Awesome.
Read as it is unique to. It's colloquially called Death Bolt. It is just her wielding her magic.
Okay. Should I be counting spell slots?
For her or for you?
For her.
You can try.
Okay.
This is essentially a souped-up firebolt. Same damage profile. It just has a slightly different effect. It looks different. The barbarian falls to his knees. He's breathing heavy. He kind of retches, and like black bile and ichor comes out of his mouth. And she cackles madly. Meidrax.
Okay, so first, she's using the wand as her focus, right?
Yes.
Do I recognize if her flying is a spell or an item?
Unclear. But she's not riding a broom. She doesn't appear to have boots of flying or a winged cape or anything. She her like robes, and she's fairly scantily clad. She's not like
I imagine she has mage armor.
Also unclear.
Yeah.
But she's got kind of like flowing black like silk from like her shoulders down to like her fingertips, but her arms are bare. She's showing a lot of skin, and she is cackling rather madly. She seems to be enjoying the torture she is imprinted on everyone. As you're kind of eyeing this out of the corner of your eye, you see the barbarian just faceplant into the ground.
Not gonna. Oh, snap. How close to the tree is she?
Not very. About 20, 30 feet away.
Oh, okay.
The tree is slightly behind you guys now, and to the left.
Yeah. Okay, I only have 2 spell slots left. They're both first level. I'm gonna start climbing the tree with my speed.
Okay, give me an athletics check, because there are no branches low enough to just grab.
Come on, Meidrax. He got a 5.
Yeah, you cannot find purchase.
Okay.
You kind of turn around, scramble, and then you still have your action.
Oh, okay. If I bring the barbarian back up, he's just going to go back down.
You're going to need to speak up a little bit more.
I'm talking to myself.
Okay,
mainly.
sorry.
It's okay. I'm going to try to use the tree for cover and fire a. You know what? I'm going to do a Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame, she will make her roll. What is your DC?
15.
She fails.
Nice.
Around her, and she screeches.
Nice. 11 radiant damage.
That's pretty fucking solid. Alright, let's see.
Yeah, people with spells, don't forget you got an extra die now that we're 5th level.
That is a big one. Alright, give me a moment to remember what's happening. Yes, she is. She will scream at you in anger. She kind of looks around. You're back behind the tree, so she's looking around, and she looks down at your friends. Shae, it is tomorrow, and therefore it is your turn.
Awesome.
I yell out, disarm her!
Right. How far away is she? Still flying, right?
Yeah.
How far away is she from me?
30 feet and 20 feet up. So 30 feet.
Okay. Gonna take a few steps forward as I pull out my back weapon in the form of a maul, and I bring it up for like a downward swing, and then I misty step behind her and bring it down on her head.
You bamf behind her. And you can hit her.
Okay. That's a 21 to hit.
Yeah.
And for 14 damage.
I guess it should be noted that as you like climb down at her, the green mist is kind of still swirling around her. You do have a little bit of trouble going through it, but you do get through it. Because I guess
Okay.
that does last. All right,
And-
14 damage.
Yeah. And then I use momentum to spin around for the second attack.
Where did you get a second attack, you psycho? Like a blender.
It is a 19 to hit.
That will miss
Ah,
because of the shield. As you come in from
Okay.
the side, you hit where the green mist has gone, and you're rebuffed. She gives out a very pained bleh as you hit her very heavily with the maul of shadow. She kind of drifts slightly through the air, and then she turns on you and kind of hisses and spits at you, just super angry.
she's still flying.
She is.
Yeah.
It didn't look like she faltered or anything like she had to make concentration.
She did drift a little bit.
Okay, cool.
And it certainly the hit dropped her a little bit itself. Okay. Pennsylvania.
So she's 20 feet up
Yep.
and engaged with Lex.
Well, I mean they haven't announced it yet. That joke is gonna happen every time. In every game. Ever.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the price you
so
pay. It's like Mage Armor.
can't swing at her. Is there anything any way I could rebound off of something? Do an athletics check to rebound off of something to take a swing at her
Probably
at
not.
disadvantage?
No, probably you don't think you could reach that.
Okay. Then I guess I'll just pull out my bow and take a shot at her.
Okay. Yeah, you can. I'll let you bonus action the change and then shoot her.
It is probably not enough with a 15.
No, it is not, unfortunately. Did you want to move at all?
Yeah, I'll move the direction she threw the dagger.
Do you want to move directly under her?
Well, you said she kind of threw it away.
Yeah.
Did she
yeah, kinda
throw it
tossed
just
behind her.
down? Okay.
You have to move past her to get kind of towards it.
I don't want to be directly under her, but if she were to fall, I would
Yeah,
like to be able
that
to.
path, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving essentially closer to her.
Yep.
Okay. As you're moving, you hear a bit of a weird sound, and it almost sounds like. And you look up and you see just a flash of dark and red move across your vision as something very quickly flies past.
No.
And the gnome screams, or yells. We'll let him be manly in this. And the blurred shape kind of stops, and looking, something has him by the throat and lifts him off the ground. He drops what he was holding and kind of grabs onto the hand and lifts him up. And the figure turns, and it's a man with coal black skin, broken up by red veins of almost glowing, kind of almost fiery red, like magma, where it's got the cooled off parts of it. He's got big black red wings, and two modest little stubby horns. He looks like a relatively attractive featured man, minus the whole fiendish appearance. He's got a long sword in his hand that is just infinitely black of blade. And he has the gnome by the throat, and he takes back off. And the woman starts cackling again. And this newcomer grabs the gnome to him, and it just has him by the throat now, lifts up, barely holding him by the chin. The gnome is struggling, and he takes the black blade and just deep cuts across the gnome's throat, just spraying blood out, and then he drops the body to the ground.
And you say I'm a brutal DM?
Hey, whoa. You didn't know this guy. It's cool. Hey, at least I didn't kill your, like, manservant lizard man that you had named and loved in a gout of fire because he doesn't get saves. He's not a real character. Stupid souls. So he basically just cuts through almost the entire neck of this gnome and drops him to the ground. Black smoke begins trailing as he falls, trails from the body into the blade. And if something that is so infinitely black can glow with like a black light, it does. And the fiend looks down at you and he doesn't yell it, but he doesn't whisper it. It's this weird, almost echoey effect to you, and he just says, "Kneel." And that is the barbarian's turn, so he's gonna cough up some ichor a little bit. Now it is the woman's turn. She is going to cackle madly and turn on Lex. I'm sorry, on Shae. And she's gonna bring her wand up into your, like, basically into your face, and cast a spell. Oh, no, she will not do that. I'm sorry, I thought that was a saving throw. It is not. My bad. She is going to smile at you, like a little Grinch smile, like, and she says, "Your magic is adorable." And she, bamf, disappears in a cloud of green smoke and black traces, and appears 30 feet away from you, behind you. She can't really get by you. No, she appears by the fiend. Sorry, I got myself confused and turned around. So she bamfs over to the fiend, and then she points at you with her wand, and she fires out one of the green skull things. That is well over 20. So
Battle hit.
thank you, I appreciate it. You take 13 points of damage.
Dang.
It's not so bad. I don't know where any of you are. I think Meidrax has 30. Or 23, sorry.
I have 28. I forgot to add the 8 to my current.
Oh, the 5. I was going to ask you about that, actually. Shae, you're at what, like 30-something?
35 now.
Yeah. Phen, are you below 50 at all?
I'm at 55 right now.
Yeah, okay. So good news, everyone. You're doing fine. At the end of her turn, she will continue to fly out wide, almost kind of circling. And she says, "Those of you who do not kneel before Delion's glory will die here." She begins to glow more. let's see here. Grim.
Well, as I cannot fly,
That is true.
and as I am getting a little bit low on the slots de la spell, I'm just going to hurl a Sacred Flame at her.
Okay.
Dex save of DC 15.
She fails.
Huzzah! That would be...
And she wasn't looking at you, and you catch her, and she just recoils, and she screams.
12 damage.
Nice.
Of the radiant variety.
All right.
And as a bonus action... Oh, wait, I can't do that. Wait. So, 2 spells. One has to be a bonus action, the other one has to be a cantrip.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Since that one was a cantrip, I want to use my bonus action to cast Shield of Faith on Shae. It will unfortunately drop the magic weapon from Phen.
Okay.
That's plus 2 AC for Shae.
It's any consolation? Oh, well, maybe not. Never mind. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, here's where you get excited again. I'd like you to roll 2d6 for me.
Me?
Yep.
9.
As she lights up, she scrambles and she falls to the ground into the mud into a heap. Taking an additional 9 points of damage. But she screams and then lands with a thud. At which point in time the Cambion looks at you. Oh, hey, or the Fiend guy, who's totally not a Cambion, don't worry about it. He's a Cambion, it's fine. And he points his sword at you, and a green beam of energy, very similar to what she has, fires out at you, Grim.
Oh boy.
It is a spell attack. Or is it a spell attack? It is a spell attack, okay. La 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 la. He misses.
Woo!
Alright.
I want to like make some form of facial expression that's subtle but mocking.
Something like, oh, thank God.
Or
Right.
yeah, a little bit of that too.
Okay. Let's see. Phen, you're basically under Shae where she was a minute ago before she vamped over, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
give or take 5 feet on either direction.
Alright. Meidrax, what's your AC right now?
16 with mage armor.
16. Unfortunately, you still get hit. All of a sudden, you just feel a bolt in
Shield.
your side. Okay. I am going to allow you a perception check, because otherwise this is going to be a sneak attack, essentially.
17.
You see out of the corner of your eye, hiding behind the tree, or wherever you are, in that general area, you see the gnome rise weirdly and level its crossbow at you.
Oh, shit.
Shit!
So, you get the shield up, the bolt flies away just in time. Well done. It is your
have one.
It is your turn now.
Okay. First off, I only have one first level spell slot left. That's it.
Think fuck for
Second.
cantrips.
I am sweating so badly I had to take my shirt off.
That's awesome.
That's
Okay.
that's the best. This is extreme D&D.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
unleash
so-
the werewolf within.
Yeah, so the woman is on the ground, right?
Yes, she has landed on the ground in a heap.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Has anyone else been hit besides Shae? Grim, Phen?
Not me.
Nope, haven't been hit.
Okay. I'll save that last slot then, and I'm going to. Is the gnome between me and the woman?
No,
Okay.
he's off to the left.
All right. Well, I'm going to run at the woman. Okay, but she's conscious, right?
Yeah, and basically
Okay.
at his feet.
Is anyone near me, Grim? Maybe.
Grim is about 10 feet away from you, if you're just behind the tree.
Okay, but not between me and her.
No,
right?
he's to your right.
Okay, shit.
You and Phen are about equidistance from her, and the
How far
Cambion,
is she
but as
from-
a... What?
How far is she from me?
About 30 feet.
Oh, okay. This is.
She's 30 feet from you, 30 feet from Phen, and you're 30 feet from Phen as well.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and blow my last slot as I run over to Grim. Phen is not nearby, right?
Phen will be about... if you get to Grim, Phen will be 25 feet from you.
Okay, I can't do that. All right, I'm going to run over to Grim. Twin spell and cast protection from evil and good. And I get my staff out, and I guess that's it for me. Can I run back to cover?
Yeah, you can run right back to where you were.
Okay.
You run out.
Tag, you're it.
The fiend has
Disadvantage.
disadvantage to hit Grim and I, and we have advantage against saving throws against it.
Yeah.
With it.
That
And you
feels
can't
good.
be charmed or frightened or possessed by it.
Yeah.
Alright. It's cool. You brought friends.
Oh, instead of taking cover, I want to run to the gnome.
That's going to be all 10, 20... Yeah, it's going to be all of your movement.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to remove his ability with ranged weapons.
Shae. Buddy.
I'm going to curse the lady, and then I'm going to bring the hammer down.
On...
down on her. I'm going to
You're going to fly over to her?
down. So it's together, then just bring it down.
Okay.
The same move. Yeah.
You have advantage.
Oh, cool.
She's prone, so...
Oh, even better. That is a 16.
Yes, actually.
Oh, cool. Is 13 damage.
Okay.
And the second one is a crit.
Okay.
Nice.
So basically you're on the stairs of the Half Harbor Inn, and you bring the hammer down at her. I'd like you to roll... it's max damage plus a weapon die.
Plus 5 is 24.
Nice.
Your hammer hits her squarely, but it doesn't plow through. It stops as soon as it touches her. And you hear the very loud sound of your weapon hitting metal. And it comes from beyond. It comes from inside the little saloon doors into the Half Harbor Inn. And you see a green glow emit from between her and your hammer, just a paper width of power as you've hit some sort of shield on her. But emerging from the Half Harbor and just tearing the door off the wall, this hulking form in black, wickedly spiked armor, just skulls and death all over it, faces that look tortured on his pauldrons, looking like they're leaking blood and black ichor, all just carved into this dark iron plate mail. This guy is easily like 7 feet or taller. He's as he kind of throws the door off, you look past him and you see dead bodies inside the right inside the area, and a pool of blood essentially in the center. And as he steps out, you look at him and he's holding someone you don't recognize, some well-dressed man. You look and his pauldron is severely dented where you hit him with your hammer. He looks down at it and he looks at you and he squeezes, and you just hear a terrible crunching sound as he just breaks the man's neck and then just tosses the body to the side and draws a 2-handed mace that looks just awful. As you draw your maul away, the necromancer smiles up and says, "See, you should have knelt and joined us."
What is wrong with you people?
Mm-hmm.
The Cambion will drop down just right next to you, grab you by the shoulder, blade into you. If he hits, we'll see. That's not a great roll. I'm gonna be honest with you, Shae. It's not super awesome. What is your AC right now? 15?
17. Yeah.
Get the extra 2 from
Shield of Faith.
Oh, I'm not gonna put that on your sheet. You bat his hand away as he tries to grab you, and instead of he goes to stab you, and instead just draws back and slashes down across you. That second one's gonna catch you just barely. Tie goes to the roller. So he's going to do 8 points of slashing damage. You feel a terrible, retching, sick, cold pain as another 10 necrotic damage races through you.
Whoa.
Whoa, indeed.
And actually, as it cuts through you and the blood wicks away, you actually feel like something inside you, something you've never really felt before, like pull away with it, but then like gelatin back into you. It's yourself. Don't worry.
Dun,
It's probably
dun.
fine. All right. Who goes after the Cambion? That's Phen. It's Phen's turn.
So Phen is going to run up. So dash is a double move, right?
No, dash is just a move.
Okay.
So you can use dash as an action or as a bonus action because you're a rogue.
Right.
But it's just another move.
Okay. So what Phen will do is he will run up, jump at the Cambion, and slash at him with his sword.
Okay.
And that's a crit.
Okay.
Natural 20.
The good news is Shae got to survive a little bit longer because of Shield of Faith. The bad news is you don't find as much purchase as you would like with your weapon. But you do get sneak attack because he's engaged with Shae. So again, nothing official, but
Okay, so the nat 20 wasn't actually a crit?
oh, it is a crit. It's just
Okay.
not going to do full damage. So
Okay.
you do max damage plus an additional weapon die, and then the sneak attack.
So 10 damage from that, 17, and you want me to roll the sneak attack or max the sneak attack? And an additional 8 there, so 25 damage.
He takes some of that.
And then as a bonus action, because I have 2-weapon fighting, I would like to use Chirp as a modified weapon. And kind of uppercut him. And that's a 11 to hit.
That's
so
gonna
probably
miss.
not. Yeah.
All right. The barbarian expires.
Wait, does that mean he passed his freshness date? Because we might still get a couple days out of him.
Well, so what you know about barbarians is they have a rage by date, and that kind of keeps them going for a little while.
Rage by date.
Okay. The woman smiles and says, "Perhaps you would like to meet our other friends." And she bamfs away and into the sky, where she then floats over the battlefield. Just kind of 30 feet away, back in front of the church again. And she looks at the building as she reaches into her little, into like what little bit of cloth is at her waist, barely covering any of her. And she starts to pull out something, and she looks down at the church and she says, "Fitting." And she produces a scroll, and the scroll has a wax seal on it and a little ribbon. And she takes the ribbon and she pulls, and the wax seal cracks, and it's a loud crack. It's like, and as she does, the scroll like starts to, you see writing emerge on it, and you can see that she's incanting something. And these little runes appear all over the scroll, and they start to glow green, and then the top of the scroll bursts into fire, and she tosses it out, and as it flips end over end, it unfurls and becomes larger, and then bursts into flame completely, and as it hits the ground, the flames burst out, and it forms what looks to be almost like a pentagram, greenish, flamish in the muck. And the mud starts to just bubble and churn. And black smoke rises from the middle of this area. That's your turn.
I'm gonna fucking kill you, Jason.
You're fine. You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Yep.
You guys all have a lot of health. Like, not as much as them, but like a lot. Grim, you're still standing kind of over near the oak tree. You're the farthest one back. Behind you, you hear an explosion of magic. You're not entirely sure what just went off, but a spell went off out in the battle behind you. It's your turn.
And I see what she's doing.
You see what she did, yes.
Okay. How far am I from her?
30 feet.
Okay. And she is... like, everybody else is kind of behind me, and she's on the other side of me from them, right? Nobody else is too close to me?
Meidrax is 25, 30 feet away from you to the left on the other side of the tree.
Okay.
Everyone else is in front of the inn. You're still kind of in front of the tavern-ish area.
How far are they from me?
30, 35 feet.
Perfect. Okay. I want to try and not only get her attention, but I want to try to like both distract and goad her. I'm going to stretch my arms out wide, my shield in one, morning star in the other, and I'm going to very slowly and in celestial
Call her a bitch.
No. I'm going to recite an incantation of Valrie.
Just a prayer.
But like spitting the words at her in celestial.
Are you pretending that you're casting a spell?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I don't care if she understands me. I'd rather she did. I'm just doing this to look and appear obstinate, try to get her attention. And I'm going to, yes, and fire up the radiant consumption.
And she raises her wand towards you.
Great. And I'm just going to walk towards her, like slowly.
Okay.
Kind of the same pace as I'm speaking, and now on radiant fire.
Okay, does that do something now to her?
Nope, I'm not close enough yet.
Okay.
Still just trying to be a distraction.
At the end of the turn, she's going to shoot you.
I figure it's coming.
Oh, that's a pretty good roll. That is going to hit you. Take 5 points of necrotic damage. Okay, so you take 3 points of damage. You always round up.
Yes.
To take more.
And I'm lighting this bitch up. And by this bitch I mean like the area, because it's probably close to dark.
What
and
is the
now
range
it's bright.
on this?
It's
There's a lot of
10
marks.
feet. 10 feet for the damage, and for the bright light, 20 feet for the dim light.
Okay. As you approach the center, you can see, like, because every once in a while a little pocket of little, like, holy fire will hit and sizzle in the muck around you, or a raindrop will burst into, as, like, it starts to kind of go. It's very awesome. Like, I can't describe all of it, but it's super cool, right? And just trust
take
me.
super cool.
Just trust me on that.
Literally awesome.
And by definition, the as you approach and you hit this pentagram on the air, your 10-foot radius hits the pentagram. The green flame of that and the white flame of yours start to flare, almost like lightsabers come together, and there's like crackling against you. They're trying to push and pull against each other. It is not budging, but you're starting to slowly kind of surround it, and smoke is pouring up out of that spot as the muck bubbles and hisses. The gnome is going to grab at your throat. Blah. Like a claw attack. That is going to be a 12? So no.
Missed.
Yeah. And he's on you. He's like, nah. He wants hugs.
I want to give him a hug.
It is your turn. Goose.
Okay, I'm going to, what am I do? Two-hand my staff and try to bash this gnome's head in.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, got a 16.
Tell me how you do it.
Just bring it down, cracking his skull. The staff like gets indented in it a little bit, and then I have to kind of kick him off.
He falls backwards into the muck, and as he hits the ground, the weird, like, blackish, husky face, or husked face, resorts back to the gnome. The slit at his neck appears, and blood runs out, and then dries.
I knew it was evil. Now, where's this black armor clad guy?
On the stairs of the inn. So about 10 to 15 feet away from you. And the Cambian's standing right there, and then Shae is right there as well. And then the woman is about 30 feet away from them in front of the church and up in the air.
Okay, I'm going to switch my staff to one hand, pull out one of my daggers, and throw it at the woman.
I'll let you do it with disadvantage. Because why not? Because it's cool. Plus, you were fighting the gnome. I mean...
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do it. They're just mundane daggers. Oh, yeah, that was the worst it can be.
You slight your finger. Ah, my fingers.
Yeah.
Alright.
So down the dagger.
It just breaks. Oh, shit. No, it falls in the mud. Shae. You got a Cambion, and then the big dude.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Before your turn, the big dude. What do you speak Abyssal?
Yes.
He says something to the tune of, "Though your soul is pledged, take this for your husk." And you see his gauntleted hand glow slightly, and then the woman heals an amount that you are unaware of. That's not a great roll. Okay. It's your turn. Sorry. I forgot he gets these
Okay.
two.
So I've got two big guys on me.
I mean, the Cambion is a normal-sized dude, but he looks terrifying. He looks like the one from the book, except more black in the skin. Like I said, like the red is more emerging almost from like magma or like coal. You know what I mean? And he's got
Right.
a black sword instead of whatever hammer shit this is.
I'm going to smile as best as I can, considering I'm pretty beat up. Do a small wave with my hand, and then I'm gonna use blink. And poof.
Did you roll something or?
Yeah, I have to roll to see if it works at the end of my turn.
The Cambion will lift off a little bit into the air and say, he says, Mariah, you go. Tell the rest. And he looks up at the woman. She nods. And you see her hand starts to glow. She puts a finger up into the air and begins to trace a sigil, and the sigil stays in the air. The green energy following. She only starts it. Then the Cambion is going to kind of lift up a little bit, and then slam down on you with the sword. Then.
Okay.
That is not a great roll. It's a 15.
That is a miss.
Yeah, because you have chirp back out.
Yep.
That's going to be a hit. Alright. Let's see here. It's going to be... he's two-handing this when he comes down on you hard. So, that is 12 points of slashing and 4 points of necrotic.
So 16?
Yes.
Okay.
And now he is going to completely rise away from you. So you will get an attack of opportunity against him.
Okay, I would like to use my inspiration and try to grapple him.
Yeah, well, you can use your inspiration after you roll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to use that inspiration. That is a 19.
That is very good. It's an athletics check, by the way.
19?
Okay, I don't know if that changes it.
Yeah, I was using my unarmed attack, so...
Yeah, you hold on to him and he doesn't really go far away. He stops trying to get away once you hold on. He was hoping you would just bow before his might. Oh.
Phen doesn't bow to anybody.
I forgot. Goes in the order of things. The big dude.
He doesn't need to go, it's fine.
We'll call him DP. He's DP for Dark Paladin. It's fine.
I thought he was Blackguard.
The only thing that's official from the book in this fight, and even that I changed stats of, is the Cambion. This is just a dude in armor. I mean, you should pay attention to that big bubbling pit over there. That's bad, but
Really?
yeah, but I mean, this guy's fine. This guy's okay.
Yeah.
Stand up, dude. Is what I'm saying here.
Got bleeding.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
We're all fine down here. All right. He's gonna move forward, and he's going to. I kind of want him to grab you, and throw you off the Cambion, but he's gonna swing his mace because you're like holding on to the Cambion's like leg as the Cambion's starting to fly away, and you're keeping him down. So you're just gonna swing his mace two-handed into your belly place.
Ugh.
That's a crit. Yeah, he's gonna crit you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Because this mace has a special ability
Oh, good.
that crits on 19s and 20s.
Oh, good.
So he
Always wanted one of those.
So he rolled a 1 for the one he gets to roll. So you take 21 points of damage. How you doing?
I muted myself so I didn't vomit. Or so you couldn't hear me vomit, rather. I'm at 18.
I was gonna say, is it time to go write your novel? See, it does way more damage than it's gonna do normally because it crit. So don't worry about that too much. And he doesn't have multi-attack. That hits you pretty fucking hard. Cool. So I give this thing a special ability on crits, and we got to see that work. So that's nice.
Nice is a word.
It's a word, yeah. That makes it Phen's turn.
Phen is going to hold on for dear life. and also try to make stabby.
Okay. You can certainly stab with your rapier.
24.
That is a hit.
And he's not engaged. Is he far enough away that I would get my sneak attack because I
No.
don't need advantage?
You're engaged with 2 people, and you do not have an ally on him.
Okay, so no sneak attack there.
And you kept him from going away, but I don't know that you have advantage on this in order to get sneak attack.
10 damage.
The woman draws a sigil in the sky, and you don't. Those of you who can see and know magic, you know that it's a teleportation sigil, but you don't know what the word she drew is or where it goes. She vanishes in a flash of green light, and like glitter rains down a little bit. It's nice. Grim. She is no longer there, but you are standing very close to this summoning circle thingy.
Nothing's coming out of it yet?
It is bubbling and churning, and probably about a foot of mud is spilling out of it, like a fountain. So someone hit like the fire main, and now mud is going.
Crap.
And the fire around it is flaring pretty strong. But it's also fighting against your little radiant vengeance thing.
Yeah. Is this the kind of thing that I feel like if I hit it, it would do any good?
No. You're quite certain that you know that this is a gateway to somewhere.
Something else is coming.
Somewhere that you don't want to be.
No chance of killing her to stop it.
She's
She
gone.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, you're not entirely sure because it was on a scroll. You're not entirely sure she was tied to it anyway.
How far am I? Oh, shit. Let's see.
How
How far am I from
around it, you're about
Phen?
15 feet.
How far am I from everybody?
15 feet. Because they're engaged with Phen. Meidrax is like 15 feet from you, but in the other direction. Oh, he killed that gnome. Wait, where did you end up, Meidrax? Yeah, he's about... I got it. He's about 10 feet away from you, between... Just kind of catty corner from you. He's also approaching the enemy here.
Okay. Fuck. I'm going to drop a guiding bolt on the big guy.
Okay.
That's going to be a 21 to hit.
It's a very good roll.
That's going to be 4d6 radiant. 15 radiant damage.
15?
Yep.
You've done almost 40 damage to him between you and Shae. Grim, anything else? Sorry.
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Next attack versus the big guy has advantage. Meidrax. You're kind of standing right now, as you're kind of walking past, you're standing next to the unconscious elf, by the way, who's getting rained on pretty hard and like sinking into the mud a little bit.
So Phen's in melee with them.
Phen is holding the Cambion's like leg.
How is the big armored guy looking?
He's taken about 40 points of damage. And the next attack against him has advantage.
I'm gonna move up to try to be in combat with both of them.
Okay.
And oh shit, this is such a bad idea. The whole thing, bad idea. Shit. Phen, you're better with a blade than any of the spells I have left. Attack this one that's Grim
Sparkling.
blasted.
Okay.
And
Stop him from flying away.
Yeah. I will try to grapple the Cambion in his stead.
All right. I'll give you advantage because you're basically taking over 4 Phen.
It's athletics, right?
Yeah.
What?
Crit?
I rolled a 19, so 22.
Nice.
He did not roll great. You wrap him up. You actually get at his chest, and he's having trouble getting his wings, and he actually comes back down to the ground and is standing there and trying to get away. Almost like when Raditz tries to get away from Goku and can't. You have him in no form of Nelson. You're basically just hugging him from behind. Phen, you drop back down to the ground and get your blade. And you're ready. At the end of Meidrax's turn, the Cambion will attempt to break free as his special action. He rolls pretty well, maybe? So
I rolled, right?
yeah, you roll another athletics check.
Okay. I got a 17.
He breaks free.
I use my inspiration.
Okay.
I got a 19.
He breaks free.
Damn it!
He rolled pretty well. Actually, at the end of the day, he only beat you by a little bit. I like those uses of things where you're just like, fuck it. Shae?
Yeah, I'll reappear. And I'll whack the guy with my maul.
Oh, sorry,
That's
which guy?
Not the one
Big guy or Cambion?
big guy.
Okay, you have advantage on this attack because it got marked by the gunning bolt.
Okay. That's 12.
That misses.
Okay. Second attack is a 14.
That is also a miss.
And I don't poof away again.
That's unfortunate. At the end of your turn, there is an explosion of mud and a flash of green. And standing, or kind of like a Terminator kneeling when he comes out of the time thing, is a devil. Let's just be honest with what's happening here.
Fuck.
Let's not mince words.
Was there a capital "the" there?
No.
Okay.
This is So I'm not using the types of devils from D&D, but this is just like a dude, fairly muscular, holding a glaive. Purple skin. Looks fairly human, except for he's got very pointy ears that stick out a bit. Tusks and fangs. Essentially a bearded devil, but without the weird fucking beard of stuff. When he emerges, he looks around, and the mud kind of rains around him, and as it kind of hits him, the mud is just running off his body, just completely, like those Rain-X commercials. It's just like sloughing off him. And he rises, and he looks around, and the Cambion says, I have made a deal with Lunai. Serve. And the devil spins his glaive and stalks forward. Shae, you are Grim, you are the closest thing to the devil and also a holy presence. How much damage do you do to the devil when he fires up?
Just for being within 10 feet of me?
Yeah, he's walking towards you.
3 radiant.
We're so dead, guys.
Fine. Now he attacks you. Oh, God. Yeah, that's going to hit. Then he brings up the other end of it through the mud, and as it does, a blade swings out, so it's like the other end of the glaive. Sort of Darth Maul-ish, but not really. And he attacks you with that. That is a 18.
That is Just enough.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you had gone to 19 yet. So both of these attacks are going to hit you. It's going to be...
He has disadvantage against Grim, right?
He does. So, okay, he hits you with that first attack. Here's the second attack. That will miss. Good call.
Woo!
He deals 10 damage to you.
That I can live with. For now.
This you might not be able to. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
19.
Oh, you're good. All right. It lacerates you, but you don't feel like it really digs in. All right. And your thing is radiant damage, right? Not fire.
Correct.
The devil is done. Now the Cambion goes. The Cambion has what? Phen and Meidrax on him. He's going to attack Phen first, who's in front of him. That is a 21. So that's going to be... I just lost my die. It's going to be 9 slashing damage. And 11 necro damage.
I'm down.
20 total. And then smiling as he cuts you down, he spins around and cuts at Meidrax. First attack, he rolled over 20, first roll, and then for disadvantage, he comes up with a 16.
That's my AC.
Sorry, man. 11 slashing, and 10 necrotic. So 21 total.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys thought she was the leader and the boss. That was incorrect. Oh god. I forgot no one goes between them. We'll call him Dark Paladin. Is going to attack Shae. He is going to roll a 19.
That is.
I wasn't sure if you had anything that could stop it. I really don't know any of your abilities. Anyone's abilities. I don't even know what class Phen is. Let's see. The good news is it wasn't a crit, so it's lesser damage. So you take 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Speaking of Phen,
Death save?
yeah, please.
17.
Well, that's one success. 2 more, and you are stable. Grim sir, you got a guy in your face. The enemy of your kind.
Devilish son of a bitch.
Yeah, I haven't named any of the lesser devils, but this is a child of Vunai, to be certain.
I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians.
Vunai is the, just for anyone who cares, is one of the creator gods, the one who was kicked out for being evil. Basically, the guy who destroyed the world. Because he unleashed the demons as his race, and was like, hey, you guys secretly go attack these, and they started killing off the giants, and the dragons started to protect the giants, and then the giants almost got wiped out, and the elves hid in the forest, and then the dwarves helped out a little bit later, and then Geigen attacked Vunai, and so Geigen was also expelled from the Panther. It doesn't matter. What, Bobby?
Actually, I'm not going to do that, because
See?
I didn't notice until just now it's a concentration spell, and that means that Shae will lose her shield, so I'll just attack the son of a bitch. I'm going to use my inspiration on that one. For
Sure?
Yeah, I rolled a 5.
Total? I don't know what you had.
It would have been 10 total.
Okay, then yes. You roll that.
Yeah. No, this one's going to be a 22 total.
I mean, this guy is basically wearing, like, a cloth skirt.
Got it.
He's got no armor on. Which is weird, because they're, like, the main shock troopers. I mean, they have natural armor, obviously, but...
That is weird. That's going to be a D8 plus 2. So that's 9 on the piercing, plus 5 radiant.
Okay, Is the piercing is not magical?
Non-magical,
And not
correct.
silver, right?
Correct.
Okay. Because I don't know if all fiends and all devils in D&D have the silver thing, but all of my devils have the silver thing. I think all demons in my world do too. We'll double check that if that ever comes up. But this is for sure a devil. And you would know exactly what this is if I ever come up with a name for it. I'm sorry, so you did 9 whatchamacallit damage.
9 slashing and then +5 radiant.
So that becomes half. And then how much radiant? I'm sorry.
5.
I was trying to do math at the same time that you were talking, and I apologize because I couldn't hear you. All right.
And I'm going to War Priest him.
Yeah, go for it.
Take
If you
one more
if you
swing.
have something, use it. Just
That's the plan.
throwing it out there.
That's 1 better than the last hit, so that will be 9 piercing again.
Okay, so that's.
But I can't. I can only add the radiant once per turn. So
Yes, that is true. Does he take the fiery thing on his? How does that work?
yes.
Okay.
Start of each of his turns.
Okay. Meidrax.
Oh shit! This is such a bad situation.
It's not great.
Oh.
Grim, by the way, Phen is down. I don't know if you have any healing left or anything like that. You still have your
Eesh.
bonus action, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't think I can do anything with a bonus action.
Do you have healing word?
Yeah.
And- no.
Okay. And spare the dying is touch. We decided.
Yep.
Is it really? I really thought it had a range. That's so weird.
It does. The range is touch.
No, I mean, that's unfortunate. All right.
Okay.
I mean, he's doing okay. He can certainly go another round without auto dying.
Let's see. Yeah. Well, yeah. Shae, how's your health?
6.
Jesus Christ.
I have 7.
Oh, fuck. We're gonna die, guys.
I am going. This is beyond us. I'm going to yell out, "This is beyond us." Try to pick up Phen and disengage and run.
Give me an athletics check.
9.
I'll let you move. If you're carrying Phen, I'll let you move half your speed away. So up to you.
Okay.
Okay. And
And
you have a bonus action, so as you're touching him, you can spare him if you want to.
that's a full action. But I do have an action,
Oh.
right? No,
That was a bonus
disengage as well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all I can do. I want to move north.
So try to get on the other side of the half harbor.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Shae.
I'm gonna swing at the paladin again.
Okay.
That's a 19 to hit.
Yep.
For 9 damage.
Okay.
Second attack misses.
The devil attacks Grim. 17.
Nope.
Rebuffed. Oh, he has disadvantage still, doesn't he? So just get that other roll out of the way. Done. And then, not that it mattered anyway. I knew you did it. So he's going to bring the second end around. And miss as well. Excellent. And he roars in anger. And then,
3 radiant.
thank you. Streaking past you, 6 bolts of just white blue energy just pounding into it. Right into him. This bloody as the devil. As you kind of look, you hear the sound of magic just, and you look over, and a woman in relatively nice clothes, silver hair up in a fairly neat bun, although slightly bedraggled now, is holding a wand out. A wand of missiles. She has shot the devil with her wand of missiles. It's a vet. For anyone
good
who's
wand.
conscious and knows who she is. The Cambion will turn and look at her and glare, like, hard. Like, he's gonna shoot at Meidrax with his little beam of energy. That's gonna hit. How you doing on health, Meidrax?
I think he said he was at 7.
I am at 30 billion.
Oh, so you're great. All right.
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Cool. You're gonna take 11 points of necrotic damage as this green bolt hits you.
I'm out.
What? Okay, well, yeah, because he rolled a 19 and a 20. This is 2 rolls for that. Roll that, and he rolled better.
Alright, well that was concentration, so it's gone from Grim.
He's going to turn and look at her. And say, I know who you are. I can see through all your secrets. And then he will point down at Grim and fire his other beam.
No.
And miss.
Yes.
Let's see here. Dark Paladin. I'm gonna roll at Shae. Try to two-hand mace you. Yeah, that's gonna hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Take 13 damage.
All right.
Are you in the mud?
Yes.
Okay.
TPK coming up, boys.
Let's see here.
Shit.
So about that druid. I'm gonna have to read about druids now.
Phen, death saving throw.
Hey, I crit.
You're awake with one. I was about to say, because everyone can still crit. This is the game now. You wake up and you have 1 hit point, and you're like, a vet's here. So as Meidrax falls, like, because he's carrying you, and as he falls, you like wake up, and your feet hit the ground, and you catch him in time, and just like kickstand for him.
All right.
That's solid. Because now I'm gonna see how much I can not pull punches if if you're awake. You have 1 hit point.
So, can I kind of just?
They don't know that you're awake. That's important. That's important news.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
So I'm gonna like gently put Meidrax down,
Face down to the dirt. Bam. Smash.
like so he's not gonna die
Yeah.
and suffocate. And then I'm gonna like try to get on one side of him and get down in the mud. And as an action, I'm going to hide. As a bonus action, I'm going to drink a potion of healing.
Okay. Just for the record, not that he doesn't have any spells or anything left, but I was gonna say pouring a potion down his throat will give you will get him up. I don't know how many healing potions you have.
I have 5, so I'm going to get one
Oh.
for me so I can
Alright.
not die.
If it's any consolation, you're already hidden. They do not know you're there because you both fell face down in the mud. He thinks you're both dead.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I will let you do action. I can reasonably assure you that action and bonus action can both go to healing Hugh and Meidrax.
Yep, that's what I'm doing
This is
then.
a 2-point turnaround. See? You guys were... Where did you get 5 healing potions? And why didn't you share with the party? Doesn't matter why. Grubby little fingers. Continue. But seriously,
No,
where'd
we
you get
talked
5?
about this.
Where'd you get 5 potions?
Fuck. 4 health for me. Lucky me. I rolled minimum. And for Meidrax, 6, 7, 8 points.
8? Awesome.
That's not bad.
Yep.
That's not bad. Okay. So you are basically hidden and like on top of Meidrax. I like to think that you're like, as he fell, You you kind of just fell on him, poured one in his mouth, and then fell on your back and poured one in your mouth, and then just splayed back on the ground. ton out. Okay. Dude, solid play on that. I mean, granted, 5% fucking chance of happening, but solid play. Grim,
Yes.
fuck this dude up, man.
Yeah, it's Sacred Flame time again.
So dex save from him.
Yep.
DC
15.
damage.
13.
All right. Got anything else? I think we
Not
decided
for
you
now.
have to attack in order to get the War God thing. So.
Yeah, I don't get my War Priest action.
Okay. Meidrax, you find yourself alive again. Strangely. Now they know you're here.
Just push
I
his
look
face
over
back into the
at
mouth.
Phen. I look over at Phen, who appears to be dead. I wonder what the hell happened, and push myself up.
It's half your movement to stand up.
Yeah. Shit. The big guy with armor still there?
He's looming over. You expect to look back and kind of get your bearings. You see the cambion flying up. You see a woman with silver hair. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, she just attacked. Grim is facing down this devil. This devil looks beat to shit. Grim has held his own. I have no idea how much health Grim has, but impressive. And you look to see Shae, but Shae is just lying in the mud with this giant guy over her with his two-handed mace.
Okay, well, I'm going to move up to Shae, but not into, like, melee with the big guy with the bad paladin, the blackguard, and pull her away from him.
Okay.
Isn't he like standing right on top of me?
He's on her. You have to take kind of an extra space to. I mean, I'll let you take an athletics check to kind of run in, grab her, and try to get her away. But you're not really with the amount of moving that you have to do to get over to her. You're going to be pretty hard pressed.
And he looks pretty beat up.
He's taking some solid damage.
Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna run up, kneel, and cast Spare the Dying on her.
He is actually bloodied, if that helps.
Okay.
Since you
I'm
asked.
still gonna cast Spare the Dying on her. Is there any way I could like throw her back behind me?
I'll let you make an athletics check, but it's going to be hard.
I got 10 total.
I'll let you throw her 5 feet away. So
All
she's
right,
out of reach.
and I stand interposed between her and the blackguard.
I'll give you advantage. Or, I'm sorry, inspiration.
Awesome.
And also, I think it's time that Meidrax, I think we should allow Meidrax to level up his interpersonal skills and kind of understand. God, fucking killing it today, Meidrax. MVP, I think, for like just badassness of like actions. A lot of self-sacrifice happening here. Let's see. Shae, you are stable but not awake. Plus, you got a nice mud facial, so like, I mean, you're gonna come out of this just feeling great.
Okay.
Sorry, nothing you can do at the moment. The devil goes, and he looks Grim. He looks you in the eye, and he raises his glaive, and you see your fire like flare up around his body as it has previously, start to tear away at his flesh, and he says, and you see fear in his eyes. He says, "What are you?" And he just burns away. You hear like an unholy screech as he
Fuck yeah!
Gonna nonchalantly sort of spin my Morning Star and shrug and say, "Wish I knew," and then head over toward other fuckers.
That's a good line. Oh, I was gonna say I feel like I skipped someone's turn, but I did not. I just forgot that he took that at the beginning of his turn. Yvette is gonna go, and she's going to turn her wand on the Cambion and shoot him with it. Another 6 bolts. Oh god, these are really good rolls. She slams him hard, and he gets knocked back, and has to like catch himself to fly again. And he roars at her, and he says, "I will take your head as a trophy, Inquisitrix." He points his sword at her, dashes like his blurred dash, and cuts down at her. That's not a great roll. No, he has a good modifier. So he slashes into her, and you see blood spray. She takes a pretty hefty blow, and she reels from it and kind of staggers back and clutches at her wound. And already you kind of see her hand glowing a little bit as she tries to staunch the flow. Then the Cambion will take his actual turn and slash at her again. All right. Then as she kind of reels from her, he basically punches her with the pommel into the face and breaks her nose, and she's just bloodied in the face. And then he grabs her by the shoulder and holds her back, and he whispers something to her that none of you catch. And she's kind of lolling there, and he just runs through her stomach with the sword and out the back. And then pulls it out and throws her into the mud. The wand has clattered out of her hand. The Dark Paladin is going to attempt to squash Meidrax. That is an 18. 10 damage to Meidrax, which I think is enough to take you down again.
Yeah, I'm unconscious again.
Okay. You fall backwards and kind of land partially on Shae. Okay. Phen, you, out of the corner of your eye, see what happens to Yvette, and you see her go down.
But Grim is over by Yvette, right? Or closer
Kind
to
of in
Yvette?
the middle. At this point, you're probably equidistant. You're about 35 feet from her. Grim's probably about 25 to 30. Hard to tell.
Are either of their backs to me?
The Cambion's back is absolutely to you.
All right. Is it still kind of raining, or
It's drizzling.
it's drizzling? Like, how much ambient noise is there? I mean, if there's the battle going on.
You don't hear as much of the battle anymore. And it occurs to you that the magical explosion sounds might have been Yvette. It's a very similar sound that you've been hearing.
Okay.
But you have the barbarian is clearly dead now. The gnome is definitely dead. This elf seems to be breathing, but very shallowly. She seems to just be unconscious. She's like next to you essentially, or like 5 feet away or something. Yeah, you're about 30 feet from the Cambion.
All right, my movement's not fast enough to get to
bow.
him. I do.
You can pop
Just
another potion if you want to, and then bow him in the back.
Just not nearly as good with the bow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's only +6. I hadn't taken out the bonus for the.
Gotcha.
I have 2 tabs open with it.
Gotcha.
I was on the wrong one.
Okay. So your short bow would be a D6 instead of a D8, and it would be +4 instead of +6. No, you're on a D6. You do have advantage on this.
Yep. So that'll be 19?
Barely. Yeah, roll your damage. And sneak attack.
Yep.
You catch him in the shoulder, like as he like raises his sword away or something like that.
11.
You see the arrow hit him and sink in a little less than you might like it to. But he immediately turns and glares at you. And he says, "I am surprised how many times I have to kill all of you." Alright. Solid. Okay.
That's how it rolls,
bonus,
sucker.
bonus action heal.
Does the elf that's basically right next to me, does she look like she can fight?
If she were conscious, maybe.
All right. She's going to get a potion.
Okay.
For 6.
She coughs and sputters, and then looks at you, and she calls you by a name. You don't really catch it because it's very low. She thinks you think she's calling you by the gnome's name.
Fight.
She kind of reaches in the mud and grabs her staff. And she looks up and she stands. She seems a little bit wobbly. She's gonna throw a firebolt at the Cambion. She's gonna miss, unfortunately. Grim.
Yep. Let's see.
You
How
don't
far from the
take damage
Cambion?
for your radiant thing, do you?
Yes, I do.
Have you? And you're counting that, and you're still okay.
Oh yeah, I take half, but
Okay.
still.
Yeah. All right, the Cambion's about 20 feet away from you, standing over Yvette. The Dark Paladin is standing over Meidrax, who he just basically beat into next week.
Oh, that's right.
And the Cambion is looking over at Phen, who is notching another arrow on his bow.
I want to Sacred Flame the Dark Paladin dude.
Full damage.
And I want to approach. And I want to get close to him, but on the other side of him from Meidrax, so I'm not zapping Meidrax with my radiant damage.
There's almost no way for you to do that.
Well, damn it, I guess I better stay away then. 6 radiant.
Okay.
I'll stay back, so I don't hurt anybody I don't want to.
Meidrax, death saving throw.
Can I use advantage on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, cool. Oh, so bad. Rolled a 6.
First fail. Alright, Shae, you continue to be okay. Yvette coughs up blood. The Cambion is going to take to the air, yell out to all of you, "Death will be this town's name." And he fires a beam at Phen and a beam at Grim. He's going to hit Phen. He is going to barely hit Grim. Phen, you're going to take 10 points of damage. Grim, you're going to take 2 damage, which includes your resistance.
I'm unconscious, by the way.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
I was muted.
So, Grim, you took 4, but I halved it for the 2.
Okay.
This is necrotic.
I've lucked out a lot.
Yeah, no, he rolled very well against Phen and then very poorly against you. I figure each player gets to be the one who is the final person standing each game, or every time we have one of these big fights. Dark Paladin is going to run at you, Grim, and bring his giant thing down with both hands.
Mm-hmm.
Cocked. Misses. It splatters. Splatters mud everywhere.
3 radiant damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Phen, first death saving throw.
17.
Step towards stabilization. The mage is going to point her staff and cast a magic missile at the Cambion. 4. Oh, that was terrible. Just 12 damage to him. But he takes all of it. So that's nice. The Cambion is bloodied.
Just now.
I'll tell you before.
I really liked that. That was funny. Wait, just now?
No, he was bloodied the last time he was hit. I just don't think I told you. Mage Elf. Grim, what you gonna do with that Dark Paladin in your face?
I think I'm gonna hit him.
We might institute a rule that even if you get stabilized, you can still roll up to 3 times to see if you can hit the 20 to get up.
17 to hit.
Otherwise, 'cause getting stabilized just kind of takes you out of the battle. You want to make a cool story for me? Earn that extra 1? This is not the killing blow. You rolled one less than you needed.
Yeah, so I'm too tired. I can't think of anything awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Wait, I know.
We goofed off just enough that.
I'll use my channel divinity for a +10 from guided strike. That work?
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Sweet.
Absolutely. I don't know what kind of action that is, but I won't charge you whatever type of action it is, so you can keep doing a full turn.
Sweet.
It's a free action.
Is it? Okay.
So that's 9 slashing again, +5 radiant. 9 +5 again, yeah.
Phen.
Wait, I want to War Priest.
No, I'm sorry. I went to his turn, not yours. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, that's going to miss. That's a 14.
I'll let you use it, the other half of it there. You missed by 1 on the previous man. Just go ahead and you can have it.
Sweet.
I mean, you were nice to use an actual ability, but you didn't have to, so.
8 damage.
Okay. He's, struggling. He's breathing heavy and struggling. And through the visor, you see white skin and, dark, angry eyes. Dark yellow.
It's times like this I really miss Action Surge.
With, oval pupils instead. Alright, Meidrax.
Are you kidding me? Mm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Meidrax is dead.
Oh no!
You rolled a 1?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Was
bro.
that 3 ones for me tonight?
Alright, man. Take the breather of morning.
Bro, I'm sorry, man.
It's okay.
Does everyone
Just
want to take... Do you want to take 5 minutes, or do we just want to plow through?
Let's just power through it.
Okay.
Hey, the rest of us are going to follow him out that door shortly, I'm pretty sure.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Okay. It is...
Y'all better win or run.
Alright, Shae can't do anything. I'm just gonna crush it.
If I run, he'll get an attack of opportunity, and that's probably all he'll need to kill me. I'm getting there.
You, Grim, you hear a whimper from behind you, and you think that above you is the Cambion, but you think behind you it sounds like Yvette might be whispering something. To no one. But you think she's dying. The Cambion is going to fly down to the mud and land. And say, for all this effort, I'm going to put you all on display. And he's going to shoot.
I very much do not like him.
He's going to shoot a beam at the elf chick and hit her. I don't remember how much you healed her.
6.
She falls back down. Just kind of spins to the ground and falls on top of you. And then he begins stalking towards Yvette and says, your prayers to your weak gods will not save you. Dark Paladin. How you doing on health there, Grim?
Let's get into that part where you sweat a little bit.
Yeah. He swings wide. Just a haymaker, and you're just stuck under it. Phen?
18.
Mage Elf coughs up blood. Grim? I'm going to tell you that you got this, man. Just make it count.
Yeah, I think it's Sacred Flame time again.
What is the average damage on Sacred Flame? I guess you have a better chance of hitting him, I guess.
I'm thinking. Plus it's 2d8.
Roll the damage and then I'll...
That would be 11.
How do you want to do this?
Exhausted and desperate.
Just radiant flames burst out of every seam in his armor, and he lets out this unholy scream, and he falls on his knees in front of you, and you just kick him backwards into the mud, and the burning pyre of holy light out from him.
Excellent.
I told you should have let me have. You should have taken Revivify as a free thing. You could have run over and done it. Not too late to change your mind. We haven't done anything yet.
What I'd like to loot his corpse for diamonds.
That is interesting. Because he does have gems on him. That is interesting.
I figured it would make sense.
Who wants to roll the luck roll? Well, I think it should be Bobby. Just to.
I'll roll it.
Looking for it. Give me a rummage.
How does 5 work for you?
The gods really want Meidrax to die. You see a pouch on his side. You fumble through it. Sparkling crystals. None of these are helpful. So it's Grim's turn. You hear a groan from the side, and as you look back, the Cambion is like stepping on Yvette's shoulder. You hear her cry out in pain, and he raises the sword up and says, "Your soul is mine." There's a flash of light. Not from that point, not from Yvette, but from the sky, and just this star of glistening radiance slams into the earth between you and the oak tree, about 10 feet behind the Cambion. And as the dust clears and the light kind of settles, and you can get your vision back, there is a figure in silver and white armor, white, red, and gold, like ribbon streamers off, kind of like gold filigree, not spikes, but like bits on pauldrons. You cannot see Grim. What this is, all you see is this large armored figure. The Cambion turns, kind of recoiling from the light, stepping away, and kind of hisses as he looks. And then you see other pinpoints of light just fall to the ground. Out near the dock, just 2 more, just like shooting stars hitting the earth, all coming from the northwest, but from the sky. And a few seconds after each hits, there's a flash of light and some sort of like cacophonous explosion of holy energy. The Cambion looks at this person in the armor, raises his sword. "I'm so glad I'll get to kill more of you bitches today." And he starts stalking towards her and raises the sword, and 2 more pinpoints of light hit the ground and just explode out. And 2 well-armored, like plate mail gleaming knights, essentially, basically like paladins, right? Like what you think of when you think of paladins, land, and have giant, almost like the paladins from Orcs Must Die. They just have giant great swords and they're kind of facing him down. They look at the Cambion, and he kind of weighs his options, and the figure that landed first, the one in like the really nice armor, just holds up a gloved hand, and the 2 paladins kind of turn their blades and hold them down, and the armored figure walks forward, and the Cambion swings down with his black sword, and the armored figure just catches it in her other hand, and says, and you hear a woman's voice, stern but melodic at the same time, and it says, "You will never touch one of my daughters again." And she squeezes, and the blade just shatters. He kind of stumbles backwards, and he looks at her, and all of a sudden you see fear, just like real fear, in his eyes, similar to what you got from the the devil, but you would say almost more, because that devil was the summoned creature, this foot soldier, minion of hell. The bravado that was there with this Cambion is completely gone. Any semblance of confidence destroyed. And she raises her other hand and says, "Be gone." And from her outstretched fingers, each fingertip glows in light, and you see it. It looks like she fires guiding bolt out of each fingertip, and each point of like quote unquote spike on her armor, also just a beam, and just right into the Cambion and just obliterates him.
Grim thinks he's in love.
She immediately turns back kind of over her shoulder, and you see she's got the side of her head is pretty close shaved, and the rest of her hair kind of cocked over in like an I don't know if that's really what an asymmetrical... It's like an asymmetrical bob kind of thing, but with the shaved head. Kind of looks like a Tilda Swinton kind of thing going on. And she looks over at you and she says, she goes, "Daughters, see to them." And immediately those two paladins take off their helmets and sheath their swords on their backs and start running around to heal and get everyone up. She walks over to Yvette and cradles Yvette in her arms, and Yvette comes to, and Grim, I don't know if you're kind of walking over there or not, but at this point, Phen, you'd be up. The elf mage has gotten up. Shae, you're revived, and it looks like they're moving on to maybe try to work on Meidrax before realizing that more than healing will be necessary. And Grim, you see that Yvette wakes up, and she looks up at the woman. She says, why are you here?" And the woman says, "You were due back home. I do believe it is time. Your dalliance is over, along with your mission. I simply came to ensure your safe return." And she looks around and she says, "Besides, our people needed us." And she turns back to you, Grim, and she says, "Thank you for your work here, brother." And you see that her hands are glowing, and as they are, Yvette's body is glowing, and just all the wounds are healing. And after a few moments, Yvette kind of squirms, and she puts Yvette down on the ground. She kind of stutters and stumbles, but is fine. And the armored woman walks over to you. She's about, at least in the armor, she's about 6'2", and she reaches out a hand to clasp your...
Okay.
Presumably you take it.
Oh, yeah.
"I am Anyoril, priestess of Altara." Yeah, sorry.
I'll introduce myself.
She says, "You have done good work today. I do believe," and she kind of casts a look back at Yvette, and she says, "I do believe I owe you for saving one of my own."
And Grim will kind of glance back over at where Meidrax's body lays and just say that the cost was high for everyone today.
She closes her eyes, and she's still holding onto your arm, and you feel her kind of squeeze, and you feel like a little bit of energy pulls, and she says, "Ah." Her eyes open again. She says, "I see. Such heroism should not go punished by dark deeds." And she walks through, and the mud is as she's stepping, the mud is literally like separating away from her steps to not dirty her like gleaming armor. which now that you've kind of seen up close, you believe is made of like solid platinum,
And
essentially.
100% absolutely certain in love.
She kneels down in front of next to Meidrax, and she puts a hand on his head and a hand on his chest, and she leans down and she whispers, "I have seen who you are. It is not your time." And you jolt awake and gasp and breathe deep. And she looks at you and she smiles. She stands. She says, "Sisters to me, we have a front to prepare for war." She folds down she takes out of like her sleeve like a scroll and folds it down, and it kind of like floats out from her and then opens like a shimmering portal door, and the two paladins step through it. Yvette kind of walks over to it and she turns back to Phen and the rest of you and just whispers, "Thank you. I'm sorry I lied." And she steps through the door and vanishes. Anuriel walks up to the portal and she turns back to Grim and kind of smiles over her shoulder, like a little half smirk, and says, "My wife would like you." And she steps through the portal and it flashes and they disappear.
Grim's going to step up right next to Phen and sort of lean down and say, "Dibs."
And that is where we will end the session.